Well, guys, we are back for another episode of the Liberal Asshole Show, episode 126. And what are today's topics?
Can there be nuance on AI art? YouTube is showing banned AI porn ads. Seder destroys conservatives once again. Old man Herbert Trump tariffs the world. Pay to win elongated musgrave. Rage quits stream. Braindead Trump tanks more in polls. And how difficult would it be to hold legitimate elections in Ukraine?
Oh boy, this is going to be a fun one. So, what do we start off with first?
Let's start with AI art.
The only one that doesn't have a video. And it's something we brought up off screen at the end of the last episode. And we've been thinking about it for a while. Because this has been a thing that's been going the last few years or so. And I've been wondering, can we have like maybe some nuances in using AI art people? So of course, AI art is art done by AI and all that. Be it most of the common
AI
way is
generations.
Yeah, AI generation art. Like one of the most common things, a lot of art sites, well not art sites, but like art programs like Photoshop, right?
Yep.
Which I've been using
AI stuff in them.
Which I've been using for years for like my thumbnails and other stuff. They've recently been using. They recently made a program recently called Firefly, where you type in like what you want drawn up, and it tries to draw it and all that, depending on how you like and such. But it's been a thing the last few years. AI like taking over a whole bunch of everything, and there was like a lot of controversy with it. And I wanted to maybe like talk about that stuff. There's also like AI. Yeah. There's also a problem with like AI voicing and such. If you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh yeah, remember the new norm? The new norm?
It's open with AI.
The intro and outro songs AI generated.
Yep.
We don't know what else was AI generated, but we know at least the songs were.
And I'm pretty sure YouTuber Saber Spark I watched, which by the way, his topic about the porn on YouTube is going to be one of his videos. He's one of those people that does like movie reviews and all that and focus on animation. He's also up in arms against this. And of course, as we know, Adam also, as an arter, is fervently hardcore anti-AI art and such like that. Like it's everywhere, and also voices too, which maybe we'll get to, but we'll focus on art right now. But I was wondering, maybe there could be like a little bit of a middle ground in between situation that maybe we should talk about.
Okay, so my thoughts on that is, well, I'll quickly point out, you cannot copyright. You have no copyright over AI art.
Yeah, I actually
know that.
Yeah, so far we know, because I actually looked this up, because you know about my manga, My Blossom in Summer, and also up front, I'm going to say this too, I have used some AI art in My Blossom in Summer, if you've read, like, the school, if you've seen that far into the series, or have you even not read it at all?
Yeah, I've gotten up to that. I think I'm up to the school.
So you see, like, the front of the school being AI art. That was Firefly, like I was mentioning earlier, that Photoshop made and such.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I'll start off really quickly with, like, My Blossom in Summer, because most of it is, like, backgrounds and such. It's, like, 4 different things. It's either backgrounds that were used in Manga Maker Kamapo, which is the program I used to make My Blossom in Summer. There's AI art sometimes. There's also pictures I've gotten online. And also, lately, I've been drawing backgrounds too. It's like all mixed and mashed together, and I'm sure a lot of it looks terrible with the different art styles and all that. But hey, what can you do when you can't draw for shit and all that, and you can't pay someone to do the stuff for you? So of course, the reason why I use everything, because Manga Maker Kamapo doesn't have all the backgrounds I want. And my drawing sucks until I started doing it recently, and even then it still sucks, and I can't pay people to do the work for me, which if I could do either one of them, I would do. And so I was forced for a while to look up either stuff online or use AI art. But there were some points where AI art wasn't doing what I needed, and that's some of the limitations for AI art. They can't do everything you want. Oh god, try and make like... I wouldn't ever do it for, if I used AI art, which I did for My Blossom in Summer, it would only be for, like, backgrounds. God forbid you try having it draw characters. Oh, God, that would be horrible.
Okay, so I'll give my little experiences. Really the only thing I've used AI art for, AI generations for, is roleplay characters.
Yeah, 'cause
Um,
I would never be able to do that with my Blossom in Summer, at least.
no, yeah, no.
Art
But
style looks so
yeah, some of
terrible.
them have come out fine. But if some of them have come out fine, just so long as you find the right one that's got it there. But also remember that most AIs are used by scraping legitimate artists'
Yeah,
work.
yeah. That's another thing too, which we're gonna get to in a little bit. That's like the first big problem artists have, like with AI art, is that it uses other people's art to try and learn how to draw and copies it basically. That's the first big thing too. That's the first complaint people with AI art have, like it steals artwork and art. But like we said,
Yep.
like you mentioned earlier, you can't. There's no copyright on that. And I actually looked that up too because I think I've mentioned before, but one day I would like to maybe publish my Blossom in Summer for people to read and all that. But of course, there's the copyright angle of that. Because let's see,
Yep, you'd have to redraw the you'd have to redraw the background, the parts you used AI in.
Well, hang on a minute. Remember, because I looked it up before, and like you said, there was no copyright claims on AI art. So maybe there could be somewhat of a gray area for me to not have to worry about that at the moment, potentially. Like it could be up in here.
If the backgrounds to your but you could have if you did publish your Blossom Summer stories, there could be an issue with copyright if AI is detected.
It will probably depend. It's like it's like gray area at the moment right now. It's not like like hard like black and white. Now the thing there is more black and white on, of course, is stuff I got from online. That's more of an issue, unfortunately. But of course,
that'd probably be a big.
That's more of the concern I have, because I've tried to look up copyright AI art. I couldn't find anything so far. It seems like there's no copyright, so that's like more of a gray area. Now, Manga Maker Comic Post, they already said you can use their stuff with no problem. And of course, when I draw my stuff, that's irrelevant. But yeah, I probably would either have to redraw all that. Oh God, trying to redraw from the school. You know I could never do that. It would look so horrible. And of course, I would never be able to pay anyone to do it.
You know what? Sometimes there's a charm to a movie being really terrible. Remember, the Room has a cult following, even though it is one of the worst movies ever made.
What movie?
The Room.
Don't think I've heard of that one, no. But
by Tommy Wiseau.
But yeah, that's the pain I would probably have to deal with and all that. But yeah, that's a big problem and all that. However, another problem they have is that this is like a big problem with like corporations and companies and all that, where they try to use AI art to try and not have to pay artists to do anything. So it's like trying to kill
that's one that pisses me off. And largely minority and women artists as well.
Yeah, it's used to like not have to hire artists and all that. And it's another problem voice actors have with AI voices and not. Oh, and by
the Birdman has that problem. Birdman has said stuff about that before.
Saber Spark also did a video, like like an hour-long video on AI voices and all that. And proposes maybe passing like copyright laws or something that could protect like voice actors and all that, so people can't use their voice in AI and all that, which, hey, that could maybe work and all that.
Yeah, I think that'll work.
And funny enough, too, I actually did use AI voice stuff to try and maybe get, like, voice ideas for, like, characters from my Blossom Summer if I made it to a web series and all that. And, of course, it did help me give, like, voice ideas for them. Now, good luck trying to find people to voice them, let alone not pay and all that. Oh boy, that's gonna be pain. Hey, there is a Reddit for that, I believe it or not. There's a Reddit where you can actually offer where people could do stuff for free, but good luck find people that commit to doing My Blossom in Summer for like years. Oh my goodness. And then and then of course having the voice requirements I have there are very strict, especially for the female characters. I need the right voice or I'm not gonna be pleased. But yeah, so
you need the perfect voice,
and I would know it almost instantly. But yeah, that's the main problem with like the two main problems with like AI is that copyright, like stealing others' art, and not corporation stuff not using it to like get away with paying people to make art for them and all that. Now of course you know Adam of course is like on one side, and like what are you on this before we get to it? For, against, or maybe middle ground? of AI art?
I lean anti. I'm not like super hard anti, but I'm not a big fan of it. Mainly because corporations have taken it all over. Corporations were the one who did it.
And God, don't
Who
forget to
brought most
Axe
of it
as
in, and
well.
they did it by scraping AI, by scraping real artists' work and using it to damage.
Ooh.
Damage AI artists. Oh, I got something really insidious that elongated musgrave has
Twitter,
done on
remember their
X.
AI art's all over Twitter now, remember?
Oh yeah. Oh no. You can take here. This is really bad. You can take someone's art, do it, use Gronk to make an AI reinterpretation of it, then flag the original as AI art.
Yeah, that shit should not be allowed, of course. Oh God, it reminds me of that Family Guy clip when they clipped an NAS basketball game clip and they took down the original person's video. Remember that years ago? Oh my gosh. That also remind me too. Have you ever heard of Rule 34, Buru?
Yeah, I've heard of a few of those.
Sometimes
types.
I go on there. I don't even know why I go on there for like my Pokemon hentai night, because almost all of it is scat and furry and stuff. Maybe something you're into more than me. But now,
only on the very end though.
But now, oh God, like all the stuff I seen on there now is like all AI art now. Like last year. Which I'm not gonna deny, it does look nice. Although sometimes I get like really silly with like the proportions and all that. Just look up Dawn on there if you know what I'm talking about.
I know. Oh, don't worry. One of the bad characters, like, she has about 35 images, and 33 of them are AI.
All right, so you're somewhat aligned towards anti. So if you get
yeah.
All right, now let me explain me more. I'm like more like neutral in between that. Yes, I don't like that they would like steal art and all that, or protect like voice actors and artists too with their work. However, I think there could be like a little bit more of a middle ground for like someone like me, for example. Like as I already mentioned, I used AI art to help get some backgrounds for my Blossom Summer at first. Now, if I had the opportunity to draw them, which, hey, like I said, the last, 2 months I started drawing my stuff on my Blossom Summer, and you've seen some of the work and how dog shit is compared to the AI art and all
that. You gotta start somewhere, Tim. You gotta start somewhere.
But, I mean, compare that to the AI art, what looks better, honestly? Adam would just say, it's not AI art, so it's automatically better. But, think of it this way. I couldn't really draw anything. And, of course, I can't pay people to do stuff for me. So, when you give me an option, I can't draw, I can't pay people to do it, or I could maybe use a program to get what I want, potentially better than what I could do for free, can you really necessarily blame someone potentially wanting to maybe use it to help them out somewhat?
Mm-hmm.
And
the other big thing that I think is scummy is if you try to make money off the AI art.
Well, of course,
there's so much with the problem. There's a lot of problems where there's you run into obviously the fact that you can't get copyright on the on your AI art. Plus, it's just also
cheap and lazy, like Adam would say.
Yeah.
Now, of course, if I had the opportunity to draw, which, as you know, the last 2 months I've been doing, and if I had
working on it, which has been good on you for that.
Or if I could pay someone to do it, I would do that, of course, instead of doing AI art. Which, hey, the last time I used AI art, remember that one scene, that the bench at the park with the trees and all that?
Mm-hmm.
What if I told you I used AI art to make a background, something like that, and then use as a reference to redraw it basically over a few hours? And that was the last time I used.
Yeah, that's not as bad.
Yeah, that was the last time I've used AI art for anything in my Blossom Summer. It's been 2 months now straight.
Nice.
That took 5 hours of work because I couldn't get everything right. And there was some deviation too. I drew all the trees that look like they're from Dr. Seuss, if you remember them.
Yep. Yeah, that tells me that Dr. Seuss was scraped as well.
No, I added those in myself. There was no trees in the AI artwork. That's where I knew I had to like maybe considering trying to draw stuff because Firefly could not get the bench scene I want perfectly right, and that's of course like the limitations with AI art and such. But yeah, what do you guys say about my situation though? When you can't draw, you can't pay people to do stuff for you. Maybe using AI art for like your limitations maybe could help you somewhat, and it's not necessarily like all uniquely evil, wrong, bad, and all that.
I'll tell you something now. Something here. I'm gonna say. I was going to say skill issue.
Well, yes.
I'm only half serious with that, but
well, I suck at drawing.
You are learning to draw, so eventually you'll be able to go over the You'll be able to go over any of the AI stuff and do better.
I don't know about that stuff. I'll probably never be as good as others in that regard. Especially when I have my very perfectionist vision of what I want. Drawing anime people is very difficult, as you know. Especially when my drawings look like they're from me as a kid on Windows 98 Paint. All nostalgic and all that. Yeah. But
don't worry. Don't worry. I've found writings. Don't worry. I'm a fan fiction writer, so I know what you're going through there.
But do you draw though?
The procrastination for me is the big issue because there's one I've still got to wrap up the first chapter of. I've got my Pokemon fanfiction universe. The first 2 chapters are now finally done.
And of course, B, we already know. You know, how far have you read My Blossom in Summer?
Definitely. Hang on, give me a moment to check how far you've gotten. Where is it?
I'm Manga Dex. It's up to chapter 21 now.
Hang on, give me a moment. I'm trying to find.
But anyways,
where are we?
I don't think you know about this. I found an app on my phone called Fort Town. It lets me like do like fan fiction.
Here it is. My Blossom in Summer.
But how far are you up to?
Hang on, give me a moment to check the third check.
But anyways, I have an app called Fort Town.
You have added a lot more. All right.
I told you.
I think you only had like 4 I think you only had 4 chapters at that point.
It was 7, that became 13, and then 21. I do a whole volume pretty much in one go.
Okay, I'll be sure to check that out to catch up after this.
But yeah, so far chapter 21's public, thanks to Fort Town, which is an app that lets me like organize like fiction and all that. I'd be able to write down chapters and all, like scripts on for future when I add them in. I'm now up to chapter 38. And that's over like the last 2 weeks. So I've done like 18 chapters like in the last 2 weeks writing down.
Oh.
If I'm in the mood, I could write a whole chapter like in an hour.
Nice. For me, if I'm in a good mood, or have the right time, I can write an entire chapter in a day.
Yep.
I'm writing an entire chapter of my fanfiction in a day, which is usually about 2 to 3K in the word count.
The stuff I've written down is up to like almost 20,000 words in a few weeks. But yeah,
nice.
All right, we're getting a little bit off topic. So yeah, what do you guys say about maybe a little bit of like nuances, like my experiences with AI art? What do you guys say about me compared to dirty, evil corporations? Am I as evil as them?
I wish there were non-corporate AIs that meant that use the frickin' that the people allowed to be used. I just wish there was one, but I think there's only one, and I can't remember its name, and it's very obscure anyway.
Maybe we need to regulated people. The evil R word that conservatives hate.
Tight regulation.
So it can help everyone. Help people like me who can't draw for shit and can't pay people. But don't want to be evil, scummy corporations who could do either one of those things. But don't want to. So yeah, people, maybe we could have a little bit more nuance and middle ground when it comes to AI art. Is it really that hard, people? Is it that too hard to understand?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, because I'm just as evil as them, don't you know? All right, now we finally got that out of the way after like 20 minutes. On to the next topic.
And it'll be the YouTube showing banned AI porn ads.
Oh yeah, lovely. Of course, as I mentioned before, SaberSpark, which I think we've covered him before. He's a YouTuber that does like movie stuff and all that, and animation. Like we brought before. He did a video a while ago about how bad AI voices and all that is. And this kind of is somewhat AI art too, somewhat, if you see the video. But, of course, he's complaining about recently, and, of course, YouTube took down a whole bunch of his videos recently because they're idiots and assholes. He's done a video complaining about how, like, YouTube ads are now, like, AI porn, basically. And, thankfully, I have ad blocker on my computer for years now, so I don't see him, but I see him every time I'm on my phone. And, oh, God, it is, like, the most annoying crap you ever see. And a lot of times, I freaking try to skip the ads. And of course, be it my phone, fat finger, whatever, it tries to load up the ad when I hit skip and all that. And that causes a whole bunch of issues.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that. And especially if it's a fake skip that they stick in. And it's like, oh, there's the skip ad. Click to website. And it's like,
maybe I need to look at the ad blocker for my phone as well. But yeah, it's pretty bad and all that. So let's get into this. Hey, we'll be making fun of AI art potentially somewhat too.
Hey folks, how's it going? Today we're talking about the abysmal state of YouTube.
He's going to bring up too. These ads are actually illegal by YouTube's TOS, but they still allow.
They don't care, of course.
And of course, they go after. Take down people's stuff for, like, nudity on that when it's, like, so tame and irrelevant that it doesn't seem to matter. Just like when they keep harassing SaberSpark all the time.
Ads. And how they have just spiraled out of control. Look, I'm actually dumbfounded at how bad the situation has become. You thought mobile game ads were bad? Oh, yeah. Well, just wait till you see an ad.
Oh, God, those are all over Twitter as well.
That's trying to sell you on a mobile.
Oh, yeah. He's showing an ad right here. One common thing I've seen, like, in the last week, ads where it shows, like, women, like, looking like they're, like, taking off their pantsuit and all that with, like, their legs all spread open, all that. But it's, like, half covered, so you only see, like, their chests and all that. And a couple times they're, like, bent over, look like they're getting fucked and all that, but you don't actually see anything. Oh, God, those ads are so annoying.
They're all over Twitter as well. Experiences with an AI companion? How is this ad connected to this service? Oh, wait,
why should it be too?
It's just trying to get your attention and is probably a scam. Now, I've talked about YouTube ads before and my frustrations of their double standards when it comes to creators. Oh, you work for YouTube? Well, you better toe the line or your channel is dead. Oh, what's that? You want to advertise on YouTube? Well, right this way. What's that? It's a cropped image of Mabel from Gravity Falls with her pants off advertising a predatory AI chatbot service that preys on the loneliness.
All over the place on YouTube and Twitter as well. Not Pokemon, Cartoon Network characters, Disney characters, anime characters, you can name it, everything.
Of people?
Yep.
Well, get this ad to the front page. We're f***ed, aren't we?
And also, by the way, too, they're doing those ads illegally, too. They never got permission to use those characters either.
Yep.
Particularly frustrating because YouTube allows this on their site, but will kill off YouTubers for the most benign of reasons. About a month ago, a YouTube channel I was following called Tammers got terminated by YouTube for nudity and sexual content, even though the guy just made silly My Little Pony videos. This is frustrating because 1, clearly a bot flagged Tammers' channel. 2, a bot is replying in customer service for him. And 3, YouTube greenlights actual ads with cropped porn in it. And it's not just YouTube, it's the entire internet. Every major website
right now, a lot of those chatbots probably of underage people.
Yep.
And we're not talking like 16, 17, like we're talking actual children.
And bots being used to contact you and all that, of course. Can't have normal people just doing shit to make it simple, of course. Bots and AI everywhere.
Ads that are scams and lies, and of course AI is just making it so much worse. Ooh, look at this box of chocolate. It's totally real. How the hell is this not false advertisement? The worst part is that this isn't even an actual ad for the chocolate company, but a flat-out scam with the, "Hey, you won! Now give us your credit card information for your prize." Yes, that's right. YouTube accepts money to promote scams now. So folks, consider this my final entry in my Why I Hate YouTube Ads series, because I'm tired, boss. I don't got much left in me. It feels like the internet just keeps getting worse and worse with each passing day, and more than ever, people need to use discretion and remain skeptical, especially for ads they see on the internet. And AI,
or be big brain like me and get ad blocker.
It's made things so much worse.
Or you have your dad buy YouTube Premium, and then you don't need to worry about ads in that regard.
Imagine having money to do that.
As of late. Oh, look, it's Elsa. Wait, what's she doing with her shirt? Folks, I hate AI-generated videos. I hate ads. And to see them team up just makes me think that we are cooked as a species. This stuff goes unchallenged. And clearly, YouTube does not give a damn when it comes to monitoring the companies that pay them to advertise. Even those said ads are misleading, stealing from IPs, scams, or just crap.
God forbid one day I go on my phone seeing a video and I see an ad with Ayaka, Bunko, Kohaku, Haruko for My Blossom Summer, all like, oh god, huge tits, huge asses, wearing those short ass schoolgirl outfits and all that, and doing sexual shit without my permission. Oh boy, there will be hell to pay, pals.
Are there
I'll
any
go
good
full Karen on them
left in the world? Well,
you're not doing it to my characters,
and I've been
mister.
using it for over 4 years now. Yes, it's my Helix match.
And of course, as always, gotta do his ad stuff. It's like 3 minutes in.
Categories about the horrors of YouTube ads. But before I do, I want to make something very clear about YouTube as a website. Their mantra? Rules for thee, not for me. If you're a creator on the platform, you have to adhere to YouTube's ad suitability. Does a video have adult content? Does it have bad language? Is it about drugs? Is it about sensitive events? Politics?
Which is why Lass is never monetized because of it.
Plausible liability.
They're triggered by the name
passing
alone.
onto the creator instead of taking any kind of
Never has been
responsibility for the
monetized and never
content that's
will be
uploaded to their
monetized.
site.
Imagine being triggered by a name. What's so wrong with Liberal Asshole Show? It sounds lovely, don't it?
Also, if you check any of these boxes, there's a good chance your video gets age restricted and sent right to the shadow realm. What's that? You want the algorithm? Sorry, not happening. Though, by some miracle, some of these vids uploaded to YouTube fly under the radar. This one, for example, blows my mind. And at the time of recording this video, is still on their website. Oh yes, the Spicy City YouTube short it's too much. It's too extreme despite my censoring, and it's unsuitable for monetization. But this is fine. This is okay. Clearly it's just on the toilet. It's educational. F you, YouTube, you hypocrites.
Half-dressed woman on the toilet about to blow someone. That's allowed, of course.
Yeah.
So yes, some creators get away with breaking the rules, like those terrible AI cat video channels, while others get punished by YouTube for practically nothing.
Oh god, it reminds me years ago of like all the Peppa Pig videos, if you remember those. Oh god.
YouTube's customer service is an absolute joke, and it's mostly
which he actually covered years ago too.
Point.
Let's go.
But if you want to advertise on YouTube, you have carte blanche to do whatever the hell you want. You would think YouTube would have high standards since they would be culpable greenlighting these ads. But hey, no, not at all. The only time I ever saw YouTube freak out was when they accidentally put a Coke ad on a song on YouTube called, I'm gonna paraphrase, Alabama N-word. And then Coca-Cola found out and understandably lost their shit. So yeah, YouTube only cares when their advertisers get angry, not their viewers, and especially not their creators.
Make sure enough involved in My Blossom Summer using your ads and YouTube, or you're going to be hearing from me and my poor nothing sent to my name.
Oh, and get ready for more ads. Yeah, y'all are tired of like the mid-rolls so far? Well, guess what? YouTube recently announced changes for mid-roll ads and auto-assigning said ads into videos. Guess what? Expect an ad like every 2 minutes now. Personally, I feel that this is their way to force people to get YouTube Premium, which is ad-free.
Or YouTube's you can just, get ad blocker.
Dailymotion? Vimeo? Ha! We got you over a barrel. All right, category time. Let's start off with the most notorious type of ad. Mobile game ads. Have they gotten worse?
Yeah, they're all over the place, like on Twitter too.
Yep, more explicit, more dumb, more misleading, and oh, look! Yes, AI, wonderful! At this point, I feel like I owe Raid Shadow Legends an apology. At least they actually put some effort into their ads versus seeing a wolf shoot out peanut butter while giving birth on a tail. I hate my life!
This crap sucks!
What is this? There's nothing else to say here, folks. Again, we're cooked.
It's people who are apparently into scat fetishes.
As a species. Moving on, we got
furry and scat, like on Rule 34 Borough.
By the way, I'm
Oh no! Oh, here we go. AI.
That's why I stick to XXX and Pie Heel.
Here we go. AI chat with friends of anime characters and TV characters and all that. And
a
sexual
separate video about this topic next month. My morbid curiosity got the better of me.
Again, YouTube, if I ever see Ayako, Bunko, Kohaku, Haruko, anyone of my Blossom Summer in this, without my permission, you will face hell. I will end you like in Pokemon, mister.
Because here I see these ads with Mavis from Hotel Transylvania. And I'm like, I don't think that's legal. Pretty sure Sony wouldn't like this. But
I wouldn't like it. I'll make you fear me more.
They're not culpable either. But yeah, we got Mavis being all like, ooh, come talk to me.
How would you feel about your Pokemon fan fictions in this shit, mister?
Yeah, no thanks. There'd be hell to pay for that as well.
Would you raise
considering that
would you go full flight on them?
Every single arc has underage characters.
I mean, all the characters I mentioned are 14 as well.
Blah, 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 blah. Though she's clearly an AI-generated character. And also this takes many forms. Get Lisa Simpson, Linda from Bob's Burgers, and Mabel from Gravity Falls. Yeah, weird.
She's wearing the Virgin Killer sweater too.
I checked out one of these chatbot apps to see if it actually linked back to AI, because so often YouTube ads are like, here's the advertisement only for the apps to lie. But get this, these AI chatbot ads are a thing. And I clicked on Darth Vader, and our conversation very quickly got hot and heavy. Like, I didn't even ask anything crazy. He's just like, oh, what are you wearing? Like, Lord Vader, please put on your helmet. But it's crazy that I can look at these AI chatbot ads and be like, yeah, they're stealing IP, and it's AI garbage, and it's predatory. But hey,
another reason to hate AI, potentially, people.
At least it's not a flat-out scam. That is the bar YouTube has.
AI porn incidents at high schools in the last year or two.
Again, YouTube. I better not see Ayaka, Bunko, Kohaku, Haruko on there. I will rage on you like Flight, and you're not gonna like it. I'm gonna smash 50 controllers on your head and open up 50 more in a stream.
Has given me to measure with. That's how bad things really are. Oh, by the way, next category.
I will end you on
there
Asia
is a terrible
free.
bot problem on YouTube.
Oh, remember this years ago? The porn bots on YouTube and Twitter? Oh, remember those days?
Yep.
Oh, God.
Yes, I remember that.
Thank you, YouTube, for getting rid of them. But can you get rid of the other stuff now? Oh, God, this nostalgia.
Mostly to promote sex sites and scams. Whenever I upload a video, these bots with obvious profile pics are like, oh, wow, yes, this video speaks to me. Your channel is so enlightening.
Oh, the nostalgia years ago.
These botted comments use their very lusty profile pictures to get folks to check out their channel, which then leads to a website off of YouTube, which is then, hey, be ye warned who enters, scams. Also, I hate these pictures, especially this one. Oh, is that what I think it? Oh, is it a cat
Looks
behind
like
a pillow?
Looks like an ass being shown off.
YouTube's like, let it pass. It is okay. It shall suffice. But the moment that really made me go, oh, we are so truly forsaken, was when I noticed ads that were cropped, like I mentioned before.
Yeah, but you just mentioned earlier.
What can I say? This is downright despicable. How is this allowed?
Crop a woman playing with herself.
At what point in the onboarding and approving process for advertisers does YouTube go, Well, she's got her panties on. So approved. Send it to the front page. YouTube either deliberately approves said ads or they were negligible, which is still, in my opinion, inexcusable. YouTube is not some small indie company. They are funded by Google, one of the biggest companies in the world.
But Spark corporations don't want to do anything. You know how it works.
Get people to actually check your shit.
They just want to funnel
uploads, check out your ads. Kids watch this stuff, which is another layer of insult to them and also disgust. YouTube's like, yes, creators, you better be good or you'll get terminated. Is that an ankle I see? Goodbye. But for advertisers, they're like,
hey, jihadists.
But in my opinion, in the final category, the bottom of the barrel on YouTube, without question, are these scam ads. Ads that specifically hope to give you malware, to get you to sign up with some stupid subscription service, to steal your information, or scam ads that just flat out ask for your credit card information. YouTube, how? How can you do this? Oh, that's right, duh, money. I guess they get paid, turn a blind eye, and then when they do get called out, they give that entire spiel where they're like, we condemn these ads and don't allow them. Yep. Meanwhile, they're like giving the thumbs up to the next 100 scam ads coming down the pipeline. YouTube, you're the one who approved the ad in the first place. Get your shit. Do something about it.
These sort of things need to be outlawed, and the people who create them need to range from either long jail times to public execution.
Especially if, and I will personally do it if they ever do anything with My Blossom Summer.
Unacceptable! AI-generated girls
and their existence on Pokemon Ancient History free!
Lead you to scam sites. That is where we stand, folks.
I'll pop them millions of times in Bloons Star Defense 6.
That might be too hard for them to load up, though.
The double standards of it all just make my head spin.
Get past the first level.
I've seen so many creators get silenced or flat out terminated by YouTube, and we feel powerless. But then we see their hypocrisy.
They wouldn't even know how to. They wouldn't even know how to boot up some games.
They wouldn't even know. They would get somehow griefed by a Strider.
Powerless. YouTube needs to be
assuming they'd be able to get into Minecraft.
More people will fall prey to scams.
They'd get stuck at the launcher.
This is not how you treat your customers. So, in conclusion, YouTube is in a bad way. The entire internet is looking pretty terrible right now. I know scams and low-quality ads have been a thing for a while now, but I've never, ever seen it this bad before. So many scams. And to see them on the major platforms themselves is very disheartening. Where are the government agencies to hold this shit accountable?
The Republicans support those
levels of bureaucracy.
They love
but
it.
I would like there to be some semblance of public
they're
servants.
Too busy hunting down LGBT immigrants to kidnap and take to concentration camps in fascist El Salvador.
Oh God,
in El Salvador is the fascist Italy to America's Nazi Germany.
Oh God, the ad just saw someone touching a woman on a screen and made her tits huge, and since she's blind, think of Ayaka now.
You can take this predatory nonsense to task. Say what you want about television, but at least it had some image of standards and practices. It wasn't perfect, but I doubt I would see a majority of these ads make it onto cable. But for the World Wide Web, it is just lawless. No major institution seems to care. That being said, if there is one thing that gets a company off its butt, it's losing money. YouTube got into hot water with ElsaGate back in the day. And they also reacted when Coke pulled their funding for ads back in the day too. That shit led to the apocalypse. And you better believe YouTube was paying attention during that time. I don't know about you,
but the last few years I haven't seen so much like that Peppa Pig crap like it used to be. Oh boy, remember those days?
Either needs to be
now we're seeing AI crap like
side of things to make a difference, or other companies need to get angry at YouTube for the current state of affairs, though I really doubt that will happen. YouTube has been playing the waiting game for nearly 2 decades now. They operated at a loss for years. But now, they are the big dog in town. The majority of millennials and Zoomers and Gen Alpha watch YouTube. Hell, so does Gen Xers and even Boomers. If you want to watch long-form videos, you go to YouTube, because every other competitor is laughable at best. Now, I would hate to end this video on a sad, pessimistic note. But truth be told, I do not see things getting better anytime soon. Also, We're all going to die someday. And it will probably be after things get worse, with a lot of suffering along the way. Life is suffering.
Of course, there's nothing left to say after that. So yeah, what do you have to say about the Saber Sparks video about porn ads? Oh God, thank you, YouTube. I appreciate that.
Not surprising. It's been a thing for a long time.
So much for it being not allowed your TOS yet. You just casually do it like that.
Yep.
Of course, like he says, rules for they and not for me.
Yep.
Again,
of course.
And again, YouTube, one My Blossman Summer reference, and I'm gonna go full Warden on you, and I will one-shot you just like that as I whine sniffing for you. All right. So now on to the next topic.
Sam Seder destroys conservatives once again.
Ah, nice to see something actually good for once. God, not. So this is now the third episode in a row where Sam Seder absolutely obliterates conservatives. Man, what? I'm surprised. Man, they must be really. All the people he deals with must be severely masochistic because they just keep coming back for this. You'd think they would learn after what happened to Steven Crowder.
Yeah, the Jubilee first, where he destroyed 20 conservatives, and at least 2, if I remember correctly, got flagged out.
You would think they would learn from Sam Seder.
I'm
not Sam Seder, Steven Crowder. Oh no, Sam Seder, what a nightmare! Man, it's been nothing but a nightmare for Nabby.
Yeah.
So let's watch base Dad Seder obliterates conservatives once again. And these were the same group of people that Kyle was on their show years ago. And he praised them and all that. Like, Kyle, no, these guys suck. And you're going to see why. Oh, God.
So Sam Seder went on the PBD, Patrick Bet David podcast.
The PBD sucks.
Man, it was fun.
Oh,
it was fun. So, first of all, as somebody who's been on this podcast...
That guy's a moron.
He actually had it...
They all are.
I did.
There's no smart conservatives. They're all idiots.
If I remember correctly, it was PBD. It was... the co-host to his right, and then it wasn't.
And they're
Vinny.
all terrified of
Vinny's the guy
Seder.
who yells all the time.
Oh yeah,
face,
like I said, Sam Seder's the OG. Like he's the OG of the modern progressive movement.
And he's gonna send them to the room and punish them because he's their dad.
Who I don't know his name.
Yeah,
but he was there too. So this was literally 4v1, right?
When I went there, was seeing your dad destroy conservatives?
It's awesome.
You guys can go look up the video. Type in Kyle Klinsky PBD podcast. You'll see. So my job is easier. There were fewer people to deal with. They gave me the floor to make whatever arguments I wanted to make, right? And it went phenomenally well for me. You can go read the comment section.
But Kyle, they were idiots when you dealt with them. I still don't like when you were on
But he had the deck was stacked against him in this. But he went in there.
They've gotten even worse
typical Sam Seder style. He's like, I'm not fucking backing down. Right? And I'm going to tell you guys the truth, even if you don't want to hear it. I'm going to make you take your medicine. So, and PBD...
Oh, they're going to get their medicine, all right.
And
Dad Seder's going to force it down their throats.
About Sam he's an agitator. He's willing to fight. And he's willing to fight.
I'm surprised they haven't banned Seder from all these channels yet. They're so scared of him.
I don't know. I kind of smoothed it over.
Oh, I'm going to be the one to bring him down this time.
Oh, yeah, wait, no, every libertarian tried that 10 years ago, and look what happened to every single one of them. They're too busy crying that he's a southern racist, remember that?
The rhetoric I use and the way I deliver the point, etc. Whereas he's like, I don't care if I trigger you into an absolute meltdown. You're such a southern racist. I'm going to fucking lay this shit on, bro. And he did. So go watch the whole thing. At times it's hard to watch, because like I said, it's 4v1, and they all start screaming over him.
Imagine screaming at your dad.
Let me show you what I think is the most important point. So, Sam brings up, hey man, I watched a video of you guys on the plane here, and it was you guys talking about Social Security, and literally everything you said in that video was wrong, and it was a video of Elon Musk.
Oh yeah, they were so triggered by Seder coming on. They spent the next episode crying and moaning about him too. He got them that mad.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Wouldn't it be funny if Chunk Yogurt and Anna and Karen Kasparian got their taste of him?
Us doing this stupid presentation where he's like, "Oh, all these people are getting Social Security.
Well, remember,
Social Security, and this is all fraudulent."
Emma Vigilant's been dunking on them.
They're probably going misogynistic on her too.
Yep.
Ooh. Would you know, be really nice if Dad Seder took out Hassan Piker.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Like any.
Oh yeah, he got taken out from Twitch recently.
Yep, I think we mentioned that before recently. Good. Hey, that was his fault too for what he said. He ain't gonna get no love from us.
More about Social Security. Any right-wing commentator. And so he takes them to task. Let's watch them.
How about we get rid of Hassan and have Dad Seder be the number one progressive person? He would easily be someone that could destroy all conservatives. He would make them all cry like babies, as he's been doing for a decade plus.
Yes, he was destroying Lolbertarians probably since before either of us were born.
And he does it with just
remember, most of the Lolbertarians, a few are now lefties, but all the rest of the old school ones are now Nazis.
And he just does it with like no effort. Like it's just not. It's like a level 1 chancy to him.
Yeah.
I watched the video.
Wait, Seder, are you actually a shuckle? Oh no, conservative! You know what that means? You don't fuck them with the shuckle! Ah!
Yeah!
It makes sense now!
When Elon
They're all level 1 Quincy!
Blowing up his whole brand.
There he goes, he's setting up his rollout.
With a guy named Garcia. You guys remember this video?
Of course, yeah.
Okay,
yes.
It was like 2 days ago.
Yes, the Social Security numbers spiking in the last 4 years.
The Social Security numbers.
2.2 million new non-citizen Social Security numbers, yes.
And the amount of misinformation from every single person, all of you, was astonishing to me.
What was it? The guy's got balls the size of grapefruits, bro.
What we expect from Dad Seder, Kyle?
Is a total fucking asshole who's wrong about everything. I fucking love this.
What was the misinformation?
I almost feel like we should go through the whole video.
This is coming from
now. He has balls of osmium.
Oh.
No, his balls are made of bedrock.
Yep.
See, now, that's what happens, right? When you're an agitator, when you're willing to, like, I'm just going to say the shit and fuck off with your feelings, right? Triggered PBD. And he usually doesn't do, like, ad hominem shit, but this is him trying to do an ad hominem. Like, you're a fucking socialist, bro.
Benny boy will not like hearing that.
Oh, you got him, PBD. Like, first of all, he's a social democrat. Second of all, even if he was a socialist, that's not an argument in and of itself to be like, you're a socialist. Third of all, he's about to fucking
also,
take you guys.
calling him socialist could potentially, depend on who you're saying it, could be anti-Semitic, pal, so you might want to be careful.
Credibility of a socialist system that has never worked. But I want to hear it.
That is anti-oligarchy.
I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
Will you all shut up and let him talk?
I want to hear
it.
Because they don't realize that because they don't want him to talk because he'll destroy them.
Let Daddy Seder talk, people.
I understand that these were not undocumented immigrants who were getting these Social Security numbers. They are non-citizens. Now, when you came to this country, you were an immigrant. Your parents came legally. Right. Every single one of those people who got those Social Security numbers are here legally.
Let me just say, right up front here, their whole video is already shattered. Because the implication
everything about them is shattered.
These are illegal immigrants who are getting
because
Social
conservatives are
Security.
morons.
Right. That was the whole implication of the video. And so that's already
and that's why
shattered.
It's no challenge at all for Seder.
Right.
Not citizens, just like you were when you first came to this country. You get a green card.
He's like,
get a green
do
card,
I really even need to set up my rollout? I'll do 500 million damage to you no matter what. I'll just do one rollout. I'll just go out, just do rollout, and be done.
The
point is, the whole video was wrong.
Them is undocumented and illegal. You did.
I said non-citizen.
No, excuse me.
Don't say everyone here. I said non-citizen. Correct yourself.
I can't remember which one of you got it wrong. I think you did.
Just you're thinking.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. It's like, all right, maybe you, PBD, didn't explicitly say they were illegal, but somebody did here, and it was you, I think. And I think he pointed at Vinny.
We can play the video and go through it, but
I'm still trying to get to the point.
I just want to make. Well, the point is, they're not.
Come on, look how dismissive they are because they know they're caught. Bro, what's even the point? The point is the whole fucking segment you did was fucking wrong. That's the point. You're spreading complete misinformation about Social Security at the exact time that the world's richest man is illegally slashing the program.
And you guys are okay with oligarchs
cut of the Social Security
destroying everything.
They love oligarchy.
Like 40% of claims because old people
you
like
all want to deport people. How about we deport elongated musgrave?
While lying too and saying, there's so much fraud and we're cutting out the waste, fraud, and abuse, so we're cutting off the fraudulent payments.
Be South Africa's problem again.
We covered the story on this show. There's already been people who they're not getting it.
He should go back to being a white
farmer. But Elon cut off their payments. There's a guy they said was dead. He wasn't dead. There was another person who they said, you weren't born in America. Yes, he was. He was born on a U.S. military base in Germany, which is U.S. soil, which means he's an American citizen. And they lied and said he's not. They cut off his money. He had to go back and try to get it and go through the fucking hell process in order to do it. And that's the only 2 cases that we've seen in the media so far. How many hundreds or thousands do you think there fucking are? How many? And how many more there going to be? Now that you cut 50% of the Social Security offices, they're trying to make Social Security collapse under its own weight, which will mean what? We'll have skyrocketing poverty and homelessness among senior citizens.
And it's all you can serve is
The poverty rate before Social Security was 40%.
Yep,
for senior citizens. It dropped to 10% because of Social Security. They want to go back to 40, right? That's why this matters.
Every bill in life is all your fault.
The expansion in that program, the EBE program, which is enumeration beyond entry, was started under the Trump administration.
Ooh, another fact they left out.
The numbers have gone up.
Yeah, guys, the shit that they're crying to Seder about, it's a Trump policy that he did for immigration and such.
Of course.
But of course they never bring that up because they're pro-Trump, because they're morons.
Yeah, I remember that they say that, remember, that's everything good, every policy I like is Republican by default, and every policy I don't like is by default Democrat.
You mean demon rat?
Because yes, under Biden, as opposed to Trump, there was an expansion of people who were here, probably. I'm not sure.
A lot of illegals.
Excuse me.
10 plus million.
Not a single one of them. Not
number
a
of
single.
people
Hold on, you're changing the subject now.
No, I'm not changing the subject.
He absolutely is changing the subject. He absolutely is changing the subject. A record number of people illegally came in.
Buddy, I see Dad Cedar's getting mad. I would not get him any more mad
now.
There
was a massive influx of people. Take a guess.
He started to point his finger
at you. What happened
you
in between Trump's first term and then Biden at some point during his second term? It's almost like we had a horrific global
YouTube if they do my Blossom Summer in their ads.
The number of border crossings. And then as that global pandemic waned and eventually went away, then you had more people cross the border. But of course, that context is not added because then you can't make your fucking highfalutin argument of Trump good, Biden bad.
And every one of those Social Security numbers that was handed out.
So how do you feel about the illegal immigrants?
That's godly. All fucking Democrats were Satans.
Notice, totally change the subject. And I'll come back to the subject they want to talk about. They don't actually want to talk about it.
Being rude and interrupting Dad Cedar talking.
They don't actually want to talk about it. But they were trying to change the topic because
they're always being rude. They have to be. It's all they have.
Coming into the country, bro. Oh, we'll get.
Hate to break it to you, pal, but Dad Cedar is not some soy libtard. He will wreck you, and he will destroy you. So if you don't want anything bad to happen to you, you better shut up and just take the medicine.
To that, we'll get to that.
You cared about children.
Dad Cedar is the OG and the GOAT.
Every one of those Social Security numbers.
Quick time out here, Sam.
You don't fuck with him.
You said you don't want to talk about this. You just spun away from a question I asked you and you brought this up. You haven't even addressed it.
You must be out of your fucking mind and know nothing about Sam Seder if you think he is trying to avoid what you just brought up. Not only will he come back to it, he will come back to it and dissect it for 40 minutes straight and break down how that's bullshit too. As I'm going to do also. But I'll do it in a minute.
Question I asked you.
Let me finish. We'll get to the
point that I had. Let's go.
Will you let Cedar talk, you bum?
That.
Oh my God!
Because they realize that Sam's going to demolish them, and they can't let him do that. So they have to interrupt him every second. Typical tactic when someone has no argument.
Cedar's angry face at him.
That they don't trust the government getting the money than free market.
This is awesome as Bernie.
You never addressed that.
I don't think that's the case. People love Social Security. People love Medicare.
Expenditure.
Shut up, idiot! Let him talk.
Enough of you taking our tax money and see what you're doing with it.
Elon Musk made that Wisconsin election of a referendum on Doge. To the extent that we've seen anybody vote on Doge, nobody heard the word Doge before November of last year.
And it's an illegal agency that needs to be shut down.
It just happened in Wisconsin. It happened in Florida.
It needs to be ended automatically.
Where the size of the win by those Republicans.
And then elongated musgrave gets kicked out back to South Africa. He can go be a white farmer, and then we could take all his money and fund universal health care.
Congressman was cut by 17, 20 points. I mean, this is a wipeout.
Oh my God, this injected into my veins.
Thank you, Cedar, for reminding me about the base Wisconsin Supreme Court election recently that elongated musgrave's candidate lost by 10 points. Let's go. Fuck him.
Yes.
And he was crying and moaning. He was coping so hard after the loss, too.
Just look at the polling on Social Security. Go look at the polling on Medicare.
And remember, they got
had
the 20-point swing against Democrats for the Democrats in Florida.
Yep,
unfortunately, it may not have been enough to overturn them. Two elections there because they were like plus 25 and plus 30.
Like, let's see.
But they really did they cut the margin down significantly.
Like, let's see. There was one election that Democrats won. There was one in Pennsylvania where they won a seat that was a plus 15 Trump district, and they got that. There was the Wisconsin Supreme Court election, and then there was the Florida elections, which unfortunately Dems didn't win, but they turned like plus 25 Trump seats into like a 5 Republican lead. It was a massive cutback.
Mm-hmm.
And then
because nobody likes you fucking moronic Republicans. You're all evil.
Ask people, hey, should we cut
and
those
we
programs?
really hate elongated musgrave.
It might literally be single
which is why which is why we're gonna laugh him crying about rage quitting video games because he sucks at them.
At most, maybe 20%. Right? These are the most beloved government programs in the country because they work.
I could probably beam with the team. I could probably beat elongated musgrave and Pokemon just using Magikarp using Flash.
That's a pretty popular idea.
Or we could really. I could really troll him. He can have his OP team, and I'll just do fear on him. Can you imagine his face seeing Rata?
Broad argument.
Yes, the biggest strat. Oh no, even
fucking evil, annoying rodent. No!
Do Aaron and give it a shell bell. Then you can just endeavor his whole team.
Right now, how's the economy looking?
Then he'll cry about
By the way,
IMZ to be banned.
Like
furry retard.
Fell off a cliff because of Trump's idiotic tariffs. It happened that morning. This was being recorded, like, right
Let's go back to Gen 1 when there was no items in battle.
The biggest news of the day, fucking buried it. Gee, I wonder why. Could it be because they love Trump and they don't want to dump on Trump?
No abilities either.
The logical thing to do the day that shit fucking collapses?
And everyone,
no physical special split.
Lawmakers over the next year and a half because anybody who was in a
no physical special split prior to Gen 4
district or less,
which is fun for me because it means when we get to Star Beast, I can crunch that level 28 guy's Pokemon with my level 52.
In other words, what he's saying is Elon Musk is electoral cancer. Because now people see
Trump needs to be electoral cancer, which he was.
Elon Musk
still is.
This is the last poll I saw from like 2 weeks ago. It might even be worse now. 30%. His approval rating is lower than Joe Biden, and Joe Biden's brain is leaking out of his ears.
Imagine being hid more than brain
30%.
dead Biden.
People see what he's doing.
Imagine being there by someone who died 2 years ago and who is being puppeted by the dark side of the Force.
No wonder you have to bribe women with horses to get whacked off.
Flight safety officials have planes are falling out of the sky. They see he's slashing the CFPB, the anti-scam police.
Oh, God forbid he sees Ayaka, Bunko, Kohaku, and Haruko. Oh, he would probably have evil thoughts with them.
Dollars to Americans who were defrauded by big financial institutions.
There are 14 Japanese girls? I don't care.
Anywhere between 100,000 and 250,000 government jobs
illegally,
by the way.
Remember they want to lower the age of consent to like 6 or 7.
That sounds perfect for them.
People are losing their job. So they're looking around, who do I blame? Well, it's Elon. He's bragging about fucking slashing all this shit. The idea, they're living in this fantasy world where it's like, 2018 or something, and Elon has a positive approval rating. People fucking hate the guy now. All right, but now let's get back to the more serious, direct point here. Vinny chimes in at some point here soon, and he says, he talks about Biden's open border.
Oh, and, God, here we go with this crap again. Daddy, see the police crash. I'm getting tired of hearing this crap.
How could you support an open border?
We've been arguing with this for years and years and years.
Where I want to pull my fucking hair out. And where I think no matter how on point
I can be in this shit. Remember that was like a big topic we had to cover at the beginning in 2021? Dealing with these clowns.
No, and how direct I can be in the show, explaining the reality of stuff to
How
you guys.
many times do we have to explain it to people?
People?
There was no open border.
So this is the talking point.
So shut up.
Exactly.
Open border. The left wants open border.
No such thing as an open border.
An open border. Guys, I don't want any of you to ever take my word for anything I say. I want you to fucking fact check me. Fact check me to the high heavens for all I care. So I immediately went to Grok knowing that this was false. And I asked Grok, who deported more people? Trump in his first term or Biden in his term? Answer.
Yes,
Joe Biden deported more people during his term than Donald Trump did during his first term. According to available data, Biden's administration
using his own AI against him. Perfect.
4 million deportations.
Oh, yeah. Look at
over
that.
his
Like we
4-year
covered back
term,
in
while Trump's
2021
first
and all
term
those years.
was around
Biden deported more
1.9
people than
million
Trump in his first term.
doubled Joe
So because Biden is
doubled
the
the
deporter
number
in
of
chief,
deportations
because
Donald
he
Trump
is
did.
on
And
your
Vinny sits there
conservative
and
side
says,
when it comes to
Biden had
immigration.
there was
He
an
agrees
open
with
border
you and
under
not
Biden. There was an
us,
open border
as
under
we
the
pointed
Democrats.
out to you, but you're
You wanna
too
know what Barack
stupid to
Obama's
see
nickname
it.
was?
Or
The
maybe you're just
deporter in
racist.
because he also at the time had broken the record for
They're
deportation.
partisan hacks,
This is what I
remember?
can't
Partisan
stand.
hacks and grifters.
And they're racist.
It's one thing if
Yep,
you
and
disagree
every
with me
negativist in the book.
ideologically or philosophically, and you have a different position on an issue or whatever. That's fine. That's called
They want to call
politics.
fake
That's
Christian
called being
Ayaka
an
the
American.
J
That's
word.
called debate and discussion. It's a totally separate thing. When you have an audience of millions of people and you repeatedly, routinely say things that are objectively, factually incorrect, and also you're super sloppy for repeating this for fucking years when all it took was one search to immediately debunk it. Does deporting 4 million fucking people sound like an open border to you? Does that sound like an open border to you?
Stupid libtard.
It's definitionally the opposite of an open
You
border.
worship
The reality is that
Satan.
people will never fucking accept it. The
Are you
reality is,
trans?
when it comes to the issue
Those
of immigration,
Japanese girls in my
Democrats
Boston
are
summer
pretty
look really
conservative.
hot.
Yeah, Republicans
It's
are
a
to the
shame.
far
It's
right.
a shame they're
And
about
Democrats are
6
pretty
years. It's a shame
fucking
they're about
conservative.
7 years too young.
They're 14?
I mean,
oh, that's
no.
even better.
We'd be too young, but for them it'd be 7 years too old.
On the border, and they'll never admit that because it ruins their bullshit fake.
Ah! Bunko's
Ruins
beat
that.
isn't.
The
On
narrative is,
July
oh my
1st,
God,
she'll be
Democrats,
15.
open
Now she's
borders,
too
oh my God,
old.
so unpopular. Oh my God, they just want to open the border and let criminals come in. And this is what they say it all the time about every fucking Democrat. Literally, none of it is true. None of it is true. My favorite thing is when conservatives on Twitter will dig up some old video of Barack Obama or Bill Clinton talking about immigration from a debate, and they're like, hey, we're in favor of legal immigration, but we're against illegal immigration, and we need to deport the people who are here illegally, and if you don't have a border, you don't have a nation. They'll find these old clips of Democrats saying conservative things on the border, and then they'll post it like, shake my head, look at what the Democrats have become now.
And the funny thing is, you guys said Obama was open borders then too, and just like with Biden, we had to point out that though both of them agree with your policies, and now all of a sudden you're acting like Obama was agreeing with you all the entire time and that we're all of a sudden wrong. He always agreed with you. That's why he was called the deporter-in-chief. But you all were too stupid and kept saying that he had open borders, which he nor Biden didn't. And that's the fucking end of it, because you're lying, partisan hacks, and deep down you're probably just racist.
Yep, exactly.
No,
remember,
back then,
yes, yeah, exactly.
they were saying that shit, and you lied and pretended like they were still doing.
Oh God, I know we're back
today.
in Obama's
Kamala Harris
term
and Joe
again.
Biden
Oh, miss
still
those
say that
days.
shit, and you pretend like they're doing open borders now. None of what
But
you
the
say
only
is
things
at
they
all
were
tethered to
whinging about
reality.
were tan
It's not-
suits and Dijon mustard, and not
And the
Oh,
birth
everything.
certificate.
tethered to the rhetoric of what the Democrats use. Is not
And how badly
tethered
they
to
wanted to call them
facts
the
of what
N-word.
policies are on the ground. All
Yeah.
of it is fucking made up. Because the right-wing
and how
movement in this
Donald Trump
country, MAGA
probably
in this
called him
country, has
that
gone
36,000
full postmodernist.
times.
There is no objective, empirical truth or reality. There's only my truth and my reality, which is why when Vinny says there was an open border under the Democrats and Biden,
No, there
Sam
wasn't,
goes,
pal,
"No,
so
there
shut
wasn't."
up and deal with it.
Vinny melts down.
Yep.
And he goes, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're fucking crazy, bro. Of course, you're going to deny that. How could you deny that? That's so obvious, bro.
Imagine
That's so true, bro.
calling Seder
And the
the
whole
insane
time,
one, pal.
You have these impressionable fucking people in the audience listening
You
to this. And
people,
there's going to be some
they're
large percentage of those people
insane.
in PBD's audience who hear that. And
They're
go,
the insane
of
ones.
course,
They're
Vinny's right.
projecting.
Trump always says they had an open
I
border.
think
hear
Daddy
people on the
Seder
right
needs
all
to
the time
punish
saying
you
Democrats
two,
have an
you
open
four
border.
idiots.
Well, I just fucking showed you the numbers.
But knowing you,
And
Master
you
Kiss,
watch.
you probably would like his
Sure as
punishment.
shit, sure as the sun rising in the
Of course
morning,
they
they
would.
will not adjust their talking points, even though it is absolutely
They're in because
verifiably,
they won't adjust their
provably
talking
wrong.
points because
they
they're
will not adjust their talking
yeah.
points and say, you know what?
NPCs.
We gotta update their circuitry in the meme.
Democrats are actually pretty conservative on the border. In fact, that is a
Or they're too
left-wing
busy
criticism of
ogling
Democrats. Is you're
Ayaka.
too conservative on the border. But to them, it's all the fantasy
Are
world
they
that they live in.
secret fans
It's
of
all the
My
fantasy
Blossom in
world.
Summer?
And so this is what Sam had to deal with for fucking hours.
Yeah.
And so I give him massive credit. I think he did a great
Maybe
job.
they're jealous that they can't
but
make
really
good
what
manga
happened
like
here is
me.
he triggered them into a meltdown. That's actually
No,
what happened.
they're
He
jealous
triggered
that
them
they
into a
need
meltdown. They talked
AI
over him a lot, and I
to
think
do
the
AI to need use AI to do anything.
Oh, jam at me almost.
audience kind of noticed it. So I'll take a look at some of the comments here. Having an adult in the room really made y'all look terrible, huh? This is why Crowder wouldn't debate Sam.
Their audience
Respectfully
is
and with all due
clowning
respect,
on
I have never
them.
witnessed three people be so
no.
completely stupid
Which is a good
while being so
thing.
assured of
This is
themselves.
good.
Respect.
This is why Crowder won't debate Sam. Oh boy!
You spoke before you came in here. The most coked out looking person you've ever seen. Bro, you literally just asked him what he liked about Tim Walz, then switched up. Props for keeping this up when your 4v1s get absolutely murked. Laugh my ass off. Oh my god. Yes, that was another part. I love this part. At one point, they ask Sam. He's like, "Who do you like or whatever as a Democrat?" And one of the and Sam goes, "Well, I like Tim Walz." And then they absolutely melt down over that, and they're like, "Give me one policy of Tim Walz that you like."
Free school lunches.
Sam lists a few policies, but like the way they said, like, "You like Tim Walz? Name one policy you like." They were so self-assured that they knew Tim Walz had never done anything good. In fact, one of them brings up, "You mean the free tampons for boys, bro? Free tampons?"
Oh, of course, the tampon crap
completely and utterly
again.
made up.
First off, as Kyle pointed out, it's made up. And guess what? Like we said, we brought this up before when Joe Rogan covered it. Even if it was real, I don't care. How about that
exactly. And you know what? You're a pretty shitty boyfriend if you don't have spare pads for your girlfriend.
Or imagine if you're trans, but haven't transitioned all the way, so you're still a biological woman, so you have to deal with periods and all that. So there could be valid reasons for him in the men's bathroom. Who cares either way? I don't. Yep. How about that one? I'm not a Karen snowflake that soys like you conservatives do.
Exactly.
Completely convinced.
Because all you do is soy every day.
They were so self-assured. I know Tim Walz has done nothing good for anybody, so I'm gonna like mock you for saying.
And that's
like
why
Tim
we
Walz.
know you can't destroy base shuckle walls.
What are some Tim Walz policies that you like? And he listened to you.
Walz,
and then, of course,
please
they proceed to
run.
melt down over that also. But God, how I wish in that moment I was sitting in that.
Guys, he's still trolling on elongated musgrave, and he's crying like a baby over it on Twitter, and it's so funny every moment.
Because I would have said the exact same thing. I fucking love Tim Walz.
Hey, Walz, could you just... How about this? Can you make a joke about deporting elongated musgrave? Oh, that would be funny.
They would have melted down and asked me, "Really? Name a policy of Tim Walz that you like." And my reaction would have been, universal free school breakfast, universal free school lunch, legal marijuana, carbon-free electricity by 2040, tax rebates for the working class up to $1,300.
Kyle, that's too many things for them to understand.
He did 12 weeks paid family leave. He did 12 weeks paid sick
they wouldn't even understand the first one. They'd be like, "Oh, you're going to take the parents out of raising kids at all."
You didn't say tampons.
I'm going to shoot up the school tomorrow. You can legally take their guns. He did universal background checks for guns. He did automatic voter registration. He did free public college if you make under $80,000 a year. He did a ban on the forever chemicals, the PFAS. That's something RFK should like with his mom.
Like a shuckle would do.
He did $2.2 billion increase in K-12 school funding. He did sectoral bargaining for nursing home
being
workers.
so shuckle.
When he was in Congress, he opposed the Wall Street bailouts of 2008. He voted against outsourcing deals. He codified Roe versus Wade as governor. He did right to repair. He added 100% rating from Planned Parenthood. He banned non-compete clauses. He raised the minimum wage for small businesses. He raised taxes on multinational corporations.
Don't set that roll out again.
Gender-affirming care. He banned medical providers from withholding
They want to. We will.
He protected construction workers from wage theft. He did a massive infrastructure bill in Minnesota. When he was in Congress, he opposed the Iraq War. He fought the neocons multiple times when they tried to bomb Syria. He opposed sending weapons to Saudi Arabia as well.
All these things base shuckle Walz has done.
Is that good enough? Is that good enough? Is it?
And their brains would literally explode if they hear all that. Or they'd be like, jammed on and shouting as loudly as they can to drown Kyle out.
Or Dan
Seder. The fact of the matter is, Dan Seder is a trillion times more policy focused than they are. I am a trillion times more policy focused than they are. The left in general is a trillion times more policy focused than they are. But they're so in their fucking bubble, their ecosystem, their right-wing ecosystem, that to them it's
That's why you conservatives should shut up and get out of the way and let us do the work, because we care about this crap.
He'll have no answer. Are you fucking kidding me? Anybody who watches this show,
you should just stay home and read My Blossom Summer and be jealous you can't make good money like me.
Yeah, the made-up shit Donald Trump spews on a daily basis. So yeah, he did.
Always jealous of our
great
fan
job.
fictions.
And now that I'm seeing the comments, it's a little bit of a Mortal Kombat flawless victory. Because his own comment section is just, they're roasting the PBD guy.
Again, why bother arguing with Seder? You know you're not going to last.
They would flip out, be triggered.
Do any of you not remember what happened to Crowder?
Drown him out and change the conversation.
Yes.
Well done,
or Jubilee.
Sam Seder. You love to see
or,
it.
Or Russian asset Betty Johnson.
People, which, by the way, it's a good time to be converting people, isn't it? Because here you have somebody who's speaking facts, calmly, explaining it to people. At the same time...
Guys, just wait till next episode we do. We're going to find the fourth time Seder destroyed conservatives. It just keeps going and going and going.
So people are looking around and going, wait a second, these guys don't know what the fuck they're doing. Can somebody else give me policies and give me explanations?
And they know Seder
different ideologies?
Sent them to bed because they were crying and moaning for the entire episode the next time they did it. And it was
what we're talking about?
Hilarious. Serfs covered it too. Oh, no! Seder covered their next episode on his show. And it was hilarious.
Click that bell icon so you get a notification every time a video drops. Thank you to everybody who supports the show on Patreon. Cannot do without you. That links below.
He doesn't even have to put any effort in, and he still cooks you all because you suck that bad. Oh my goodness. So we gotta say about that. Dad Seder humiliates conservatives once again.
Absolutely epic.
He doesn't even have to try, and he just does it. All right. So now, on to the next topic.
Hold on. I'm being stupid.
Just blame conservatives for everything.
Old man Herbert Trump tariffs the world.
Of course, people. Now, this has been going on the entire month, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But a week ago, Trump announced a new thing where they were going to do tariffs pretty much all across the world on every single country, pretty much. It was not
even on uninhabited islands that he's claiming other countries are using to get around tariffs.
So yeah, he's tariffed like every single country in the world, and not going by each individual country or good or whatever. He's just doing rates across everyone, and they are doing this absolutely stupid way to determine how much each country gets tariffed based upon the trade deficit and all that. It is so stupid, and it's absolutely dumb, and it's a terrible idea, and that's coming from base protectionists like us, because we know how to do tariffs the smart way like Biden did.
Yeah.
But of course, Trump being a complete moron, stock markets tanked, everyone's mad at us to no surprise. Thank you for helping Pooh Bear G out. That's why I call you Chinese asset, Trump. Now,
remember that China's just put in 125% tariffs, and then Trump is
145%. How about that?
He's probably about to put them up to 290% on them because they put 125% tariffs on them. I reckon by the end of the year, he's going to keep going, and tariffs on China are going to be like 30,000% or something insane number like that.
So yeah, and it's so stupid, so silly. I saw a report. It was yesterday, today, where he's saying, I'm not going to do tariffs for like the next 90 days and all that. Like he keeps flip flopping and being really stupid and all that, as he just wipes out everything like a complete retard. Gee, maybe that's why you all should have voted for Kamala like I did, and she could have maybe done base protectionism like I want. But of course, you're all fucking stupid and all that crap. So yeah, everything's gotten more expensive thanks to him. So much for lowering prices in day one and all that. And oh my god, the conservatives and Trumpsters are coping so hard, and all the idiots on YouTube and Twitter
highlight L plus ratio.
And all the idiots on YouTube and Twitter act like, oh, paying more all of a sudden is the most patriotic thing ever, and you need to shut up and deal with it. And you don't need to have all these luxuries and all that, like the Quivering cried about. Fucking idiots. So yeah, let's watch Mike absolutely humiliate and make fun of idiot Trumpsters who are all of a sudden coping, raging mad that Trump fucked them over. Which, hey, I mean, didn't we warn you all for years that he was going to do that? I could have swore we did on the show, did we?
Yes.
But did they listen to us?
Of course not.
I guess they had soundproof as their ability.
Of course they did.
All right.
They live in an echo chamber, remember?
Oh, that's right. All right, let's go watch Mike make fun of these clowns as always.
I got you down as a Trump guy, Dave. Are you? Are you prepared to say it? You are? Yeah?
Yeah, I'm voting for Trump. I'm down $7 million in stocks and crypto. Trump has put his taxes on. I'm not satisfied. And everything's in the shitter because of it.
Hey, that's your fault for voting for that retard, you idiot. It serves you right. Hope you enjoy losing $7 million.
People are getting killed. Me too.
Yeah, we all are.
You look at your shit?
Bro, holy it's so bad.
Nah, I mean, it's How much you lost? Be honest.
8 figures. It's almost
damn.
Yeah.
Imagine losing $10 million plus because you vote for that retard.
You over here like
suffer.
Kamala, come back to me.
Retards.
You over here singing the song like the Kanye Bianca song.
It's bad. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro.
I'm voting for Donald Trump in November. I've said so many times at this point.
Boy.
But I'm not just voting for Donald Trump. Next week, I will be co-hosting a fundraiser for him. One of the biggest tax increases on American consumers in the history of America. And it's going to cost American consumers. It will cost American producers who use inputs from...
Oh, boo-hoo. Your wife's a doctor. Remember, Benny boy?
Other countries.
Yep, exactly.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average plummeted immediately more than 1,000 points.
I don't want to hear you crying when you all vote for that retard. We warned you. You didn't listen, so you
know. Almost 4.5%.
And I'm going to make fun of you.
Implications for this sort of stuff.
Stupid
Trade wars
retards
are, in fact, not good and not easy to win, particularly if you don't actually have a plan.
And now they're mad that I'm politically incorrect to them. Because they love political correctness.
You just heard some of Trump's biggest pre-election boosters cry about losing millions and millions of dollars after the tariffs that they voted for went into effect. And I've got to say, watching that almost made me a little bit sad. I almost got choked up.
Oh, come on, Mike.
There's
These
nothing
people
that
don't
makes me
deserve
more
any
upset than
sympathy
seeing
whatsoever.
multimillionaires
No,
cry
just
about losing
no.
millions of dollars. It's just a tragic thing.
They never
if only there was a
will.
way
They never will.
that they could have known the impact that these tariffs were going to have on their stock portfolios before they used their mass.
Because they're retards. Never will care. Because conservatives are always fucking stupid. And that's why they should be made fun of.
Platforms to push for the guy who repeatedly said he was going to do this. You know, maybe if they knew this could have been prevented, and I just feel so sad for them. But even though these poor, sad multimillionaires are now learning the hard way about tariffs, other rich people who presumably knew better, they're also finding out after fucking around. Now, as you all know, a lot of big tech dickheads got buddy-buddy with Trump after the election. For example, NVIDIA CEO met with Trump after his inauguration to kiss his ring and his ass, presumably. Apple CEO Tim Cook donated $1 million to Trump's inauguration fund, and both Google and Microsoft did the same, as did Jeff Bezos of Amazon and Sam Altman of OpenAI. Mark Zuckerberg also donated $1 million to Trump's inauguration fund, then announced a Twitter-like change in policy.
Oh yeah, look at all these social media accounts that they cry about being too pro-liberal on. All of a sudden they're voting, means supporting Trump and all that, because all of mainstream media, all of social media is all pro-Trump, like we all tell you about it. But all of a sudden, no, they're pro-libtard and all that.
See across meta platforms, but it turns out that their attempt to curry favor with the new administration didn't pay off in the way that they expected, because as The Hill reports, Trump's tariffs are especially bad for all of these big tech companies, and explain Apple's stock took the hardest hit, tumbling 9% on Thursday and wiping out more than $300 billion in value to mark its worst day since March of 2020.
Anyways.
The iPhone maker is expected to be particularly affected by the tariffs, given that most of its products are produced in China.
Maybe that's why you should have made it in America, like a base company should be doing, pal. You wouldn't have to worry about it.
But Apple isn't alone, because CNBC reports that these tech giants lost a combined $1.8 trillion in market value, with companies like Nvidia, Apple, Meta, Amazon, Microsoft, and Alphabet, which is Google's parent company, all taking significant hits. Now, to be fair to these rich pricks, oligarchs usually do get the policies that they want, especially after they bribe politicians. So after giving Trump millions of dollars and pledging support for him publicly, they probably expected him to stand down on these tariffs, but unfortunately for them, that didn't happen, and now their businesses are taking a hit after supporting the man who said he was going to do tariffs repeatedly during the election. But they're taking a hit temporarily, at least, because I'm sure that once Republicans pass more tax cuts for rich people, that's going to ease their pain a little bit. Still, it's nice to think that maybe these rich pricks are panicking a little bit behind the scenes.
Yeah, fuck them.
But they're not alone, because other CEOs who have stores that sell the shit that these rich pricks make are also panicking. And, you know, there's one in particular who's really worried. So Matt Bender shared GameStop CEO Ryan Cohen's numerous pro-Trump tweets from before the election. And as you can see, he was very enthusiastic about Donald Trump. And in February, he blamed wokeness and DEI for his company's failures, which is interesting.
Oh, yeah, GameStop struggling. It's wokeness. business and DEI's fault. Yeah, sure, pal.
His physical media is dying, and his company is based on physical media. But okay, fast forward to the day after Trump's tariffs went into effect, and he suddenly changed his tune, writing on Twitter that the tariffs were turning him into a Dem. And he
and also look at that rainbow flag. Are you virtue signaling, Ryan?
was right to worry, because the day after that,
because of the tariffs, Switch 2 pre-orders have been canceled in America now.
Yep.
Hey, Gavin, that's why you shouldn't have voted for Trump, you fucking retard. Now you can't pre-order Switch 2, and you're going to have to pay even more. Enjoy paying $630, you fucking moron. Next time I tell you vote for Dems, you fucking do it. End of discussion. You would be able to pre-order it, and it would probably be cheaper overall. So fuck around. You found out. Enjoy paying more, idiot.
Noted that they weren't going to accept pre-orders for the Nintendo Switch 2 at the previously
fuck around, find out. You fucked around, and now you're finding out.
Expected date of April 9th, after
Nintendo
announced that it was postponing pre-orders in the United States to assess the impact of Trump's tariffs. Now, his company, GameStop, presumably was expecting a lot of traffic into stores specifically for Nintendo's.
He'll probably too busy call the warden the N-word.
Switch 2 pre-orders, since new Nintendo systems are notoriously difficult to find once they come out. But Trump's tariffs in Vietnam, that particularly affects Nintendo and the Switch 2, since it's mostly manufactured in Vietnam.
Hey, I'm Nintendo. Be a base Japanese company and make your shit in Japan. How about that one? Same goes for you, Sony. And Microsoft, make your shit in America. That's what base companies should be doing.
Now, Trump did announce that he struck a deal with Vietnam, so we'll have to wait and see if that takes effect, or if that's going to change, because things can change every hour with this administration. But the Nintendo Switch 2 is already one of the most expensive consoles Nintendo has ever released, behind the SNES and the NES when adjusted for inflation. And Nintendo is charging $80 for games. So the idea that tariffs are going to make the costs go up even more, that is also going to fuck over not just gamers and consumers, but people like Ryan Cohen, whose company is hoping that this system is going to be a boon for his business, right? But if the cost is too prohibitive for consumers, that could harm retailers that focus almost exclusively on video games, like GameStop. So it makes sense why Ryan Cohen in particular is coping and seething, because the Nintendo Switch 2 might not be the cash cow that he expected it to be, specifically because of the person that he voted for. And gamers, as I mentioned, are also pissed off. And when you go to the Nintendo Switch 2 subreddit, most of the posters are extremely pissed off at Trump in particular for destroying the launch of a system that they've anticipated for years. And to be clear, it's those kinds of people.
I mean, why are you so excited too about the Switch 2? What does it have, people? Just Mario Kart? That's not going to be enough for me, pal.
Affected the most. Regular working class people who will see the cost of consumer goods
I'll
rise.
give you one.
Even
you could get access to Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness.
But why would I do that when I could play it on my computer already?
If they are not directly affected by tariffs, which basically everything is, do you not think that these corporations are going to capitalize on it and just blame tariffs? I mean, they're right to blame tariffs, especially Nintendo here, but even if they're not directly affected, or they're only minimally affected, they're still going to blame tariffs in the same way that they blamed inflation during COVID.
I'm going to need a main series Pokemon game that isn't fucked up for me to care about the Switch 2, pal.
For everyone. And even though we focused mostly on multimillionaires and billionaires up until this point in the video, they're going to be fine in the long term, just to be clear. It's regular working class people who don't benefit that much from stock market gains who are going to get fucked over the most when the stock market dips. And if these tariffs cause a recession,
that's how it
these
works.
people
and also remember that when the market goes down, Trump and all his robber barons are going to buy everything up, and then they're going to make trillions when the economy recovers.
Which is why
there's allegations that seditious Karen Greed did insider trading, but because she's a Republican, she's going to get away with it.
And all of them need to be banned from doing it.
Aren't going to be okay in the long term, unlike these billionaires and millionaires who are complaining about these tariffs. In particular, older people who are planning on retiring soon, they're going to feel it the most.
So their retirement funds to the sun.
Nah, I think that would offend the sun too much.
Funds are affected by market
Let's send them all to South Africa.
And, you know,
After all,
the
they can have their white ethno-state
so
paradise.
to do their retirement funds, and they're seeing in real time their retirement evaporate before their very eyes.
try and
And
bring
Brian
back
Tyler
apartheid.
Cohen shared some screenshots of Trump's own
Yep.
supporters vocalizing their anger with him
try
because
and
of what
turn
he
South
just
Africa
did to
back
their
into a
retirement.
Nazi terrorist organization.
Or Sam the Pootler or Pooh Bear Jing.
Funds. For example, this person says, I voted for you, but 30% loss of my retirement funds was not what you promised.
Oh, yeah, he did,
I'm
pal,
sorry we
dipshit.
voted for you. You are killing people's retirement accounts.
You voted for it to deal with
it. You cost
it.
me over $3,200 in my retirement accounts Friday, and I voted for you 3 times.
You voted for Trump
Dude, I
every
voted for
single
you,
time.
but
Why
you are
should I give a
destroying my
shit about
retirement
you, you
account. Pump the
fucking
brakes.
retard
Stock
cunt?
market going down, losing my retirement.
Exactly.
I voted for
Look
you,
at
and
all
it was
these
a big
coping
mistake.
retards.
Thanks for fucking up everybody's
Everything is
retirement,
your
fucking up
fucking
our
fault.
life savings,
Every
for
time.
ruining a fun weekend with basketball.
Yep.
Some of us don't have time to wait for recovery, and I voted for you. Fix it.
Well,
Stop
you're a
the victory
fucking
lap and fix it.
moron.
I voted for you, but midterms are flying out the door. Your actions destroy our hopes and
2026
plans
can't
to
come here
retire
quick
anytime
enough so
soon.
we can
For
vote
God's
Dems
sake, why
everywhere,
decimate
please.
everything at one time? It will take.
Remember,
Just
people.
type
Remember, people. We gotta get 67 Dems and cents so we can impeach that fucker.
years to recover our retirement accounts, but it took you 3 months to destroy them. I voted for you. Stock market in free fall again today. My retirement savings is crushed because of your policies. Golden age my butt. Hey, watch
your
your language
fault for
there,
voting
buddy.
for that
I voted for
retard.
you 3 times, Mr. President. However, you decimated middle-class
I
retirement
do
funds
not
with this
care
trade
about
war.
you
I cannot support you any
morons. You
longer.
can
You have
suffer
crushed
for all
my
I
ability to
care.
retire. I agree that things need to be
Yeah.
negotiated
Imagine
and better
voting for
deals
Trump
need to be
once, let
made,
alone all
but we are
3
paying.
times. What a
Mr. President,
retard
I
are you?
enthusiastically
Deserve
voted
nothing
for
to be
you,
made
but you are
fun of.
failing baby boomers with your constant flip-flopping on tariffs. Collectively today, those who are either retired or planning to will lose billions of dollars in their retirement accounts. They're posting as if Trump cares about any of this, by the way. I'm starting to
Of course
think
he doesn't.
maybe
He doesn't
I
give a
shouldn't
shit
have
about
voted
you.
for
He's
Trump
old
last
dad.
November. You think? These tariffs
He
are starting to
agree-
get
he
ridiculous
does
now
that.
that you
He
are
just-
affecting
he'll
my
just do
retirement.
everything he can
I hope
to
for
get
your
rid of
sake
it.
things will get
Get rid
better
of
quick.
everything and
Mr.
everyone.
Trump, why are you destroying American seniors' retirement accounts? This is not what we voted for. Actually,
Oh, yeah, it was you
what
voted for, you idiot.
I
That's
voted
exactly
for
what
you,
you voted
but
for.
at 60 years old and my first year after retirement, your policy is killing me. Everything I've worked for just keeps dwindling away.
Your
so
fault,
disappointing
Karen, and
that
you
you're
literally
banking
look like
on
a
everything
Karen,
for the
too.
future and are screwing me and my family. The market is absolutely tanking. How could you do this to the people who voted for you? I'm actually terrified
Imagine
to wake
vote
up
me and
tomorrow
have
and
me
see
vote
if
for
I have
him
any
now.
retirement left. How could you do this to a struggling middle class? I
That's
worked
why
all
you
my
don't
life,
vote for that
put away a few bucks
retard.
for retirement, less than you probably spend in a
Exactly.
day.
This is all
Voted
your
for you.
fault. I'm gonna
Now you
laugh
want
at
to take
you,
the
idiot.
pittance I've worked
Suffer.
for my entire life to save? Last one. I voted for you 3 times, but I'm
Fucking
completely
moron for
appalled
voting
at
for
what your
3
self-inflicted tariffs are doing to senior retirement accounts. We can't afford this recession that you're throwing the USA into. Every time you say tariff, we fall several percent. Stop it. 2026 election at risk. In other words, they
That's
never
why
thought
keep
the leopards
talking,
would eat
Trump,
their
make it
face,
more
even
likely
though
we
they
win in
voted for it
2026.
on people's
They're going to
faces
do
party.
everything.
And the sad
They're going to do
reality is
everything they can to ensure the 2026 election is rigged.
Or they'll have a bullet in their heads if they try it.
that all of these big businesses, they're going to rebound one day and likely be more valuable than ever. It just is going to take some time. But if that doesn't happen automatically or too quickly, we all know that the government is going to swoop in and bail them all out if these tariffs do catalyze a recession or worse, a depression. But the same isn't true for these people. All of these folks who are losing their retirement, they will never be bailed out, ever. The thought isn't even going to cross
I don't care about
Trump's
you.
mind. He couldn't care less
you
about
vote for
these
Trump,
people.
I
And
do
some
not
of
give
them
2
are
shits
only
about you.
starting
You
to
can
realize
suffer.
this after voting for him
Afflo,
3
you deserve
fucking
everything
times,
that's
which
coming
is so
to
sad.
you.
No help from me, mister.
Because I'm sure that they voted for him because they support mass deportation
have to
and
been right
believed
from the
Trump
very
when he
start.
said that immigrants were the cause of all of our problems.
It was very
but now
simple.
they're learning the
When we tell
hard
you
way
Trump's bad,
that things
you
are worse than
instantly vote
ever,
against him
even
no
though
matter
the
what.
immigrants
It's
are
very
being
simple.
deported.
Exactly.
And it's pretty perverse, on a side note, that we have a
When we
retirement
tell you
system
Republicans
that
are
hinges
evil,
on the
you
success
instantly
of
accept it and you
multi-billion,
vote against them
multi-trillion
every
dollar
time.
corporations.
It's
See,
very
when you work
simple.
hard for these
Exactly.
companies,
That's what
you don't get a
that's what we
raise when
should
the
be
profits
doing.
go up. But if they lose value, your retirement
least you
goes
don't have
bye-bye.
to worry about
Isn't
dealing
that fucked
with
up? What kind of a sick,
Oh, we
twisted
still
system is
do.
this?
It's just
Your
not
fate is
directly.
tied to these
Plus, we've
corporations.
got our
but
wannabe Donald Trump, Clive Palmer trying to get back into Parliament.
Well, you know what to do next month, mister.
you don't reap any of the rewards, only the downsides.
Oh, don't worry. I'll be happily voting for the Greens. We've got ranked choice voting.
Again, rub the shit in my face, pal.
Isn't
I'm
that
suffering.
the dumbest fucking system ever? And on the other end, they
Sorry.
price gouge you.
That's right, make
and
fun of the
they
stupid
bribe
fat
politicians
American.
so that way they can cut corners so they can sell you shittier products for higher prices in order to maximize profits year after year after year, all while you get more poor. But that's capitalism, my friends. Regardless, all of these people that we've talked about today, they knew that Trump would implement these tariffs before the election,
and we warned you,
because it was one of his signature campaign promises.
Warned you.
I don't really know what to say.
If you want base protectionism, you should have stuck with Biden and Kamala, because they were doing just that.
I feel bad in some ways for the
because
poor people
Dems know what they're
who are
doing,
losing their retirements, but
You're
at the same time, it's
stupid.
like, man, as an adult, you've got to kind of take personal responsibility. That's what these
conservatives hate taking personal responsibility. Mike, they like blaming minorities.
They all voted for Reagan.
They blame minorities. They blame these people should work a little bit harder. They blame women. They blame wokeness.
Muslims and Jews.
Right? Maybe work until you die. That's what Republicans have been wanting for a very long time. Reagan has wanted us to work until we die. They want to loot all of our savings, our pensions, our Social Security, because they want to give that to their rich donors. And you fall for it every time, and you get bogged down by these dumbass distractions like trans people or immigrants, and you let them dupe you into voting against your own self-interest again and again and again, and never realize it until it's too late.
Biologically inferior.
Yeah,
with your
I have no
tiny,
sympathy, by the way, for these
brains.
multimillionaires, but I have a little bit of sympathy because these people who lost their retirement were so
intellectually inferior.
There we go.
I don't know what to say. They could have done a little bit of research. They could have listened to the warnings of economists before the election, but they chose to ignore reality in order to vote for a con man because they probably thought that he would only fuck over people that they don't like, i.e. immigrants and trans people. But it turns out, like we warned you, he was going to fuck over everyone, including you. Remember after the election, for those who weren't tuned into the channel, I said that. I said he's going to fuck over you too, and I meant it. That wasn't conjecture. We knew what Trump was going to do, and he did it, and now you're crying. It's so frustrating. But I mean, what do you say? I guess I hate that Americans are so selfish. You know, if half of the moon
it's more of just
broke off and fell on the other side out of the planet, most Americans wouldn't give a flying fuck if they didn't think that would affect them. They'd be fine with all of the rest of the people on the other side of the world dying if they didn't think it would personally affect them. That's Americans.
And they're too
selfish,
busy fapping to
brainwashed, miserable pieces of shit who think that we're the only country on earth. It is humiliating. So I guess that in some ways Trump is the perfect representation of our collective stupidity because we are a society in decline. We are a failing empire who has embarrassed ourselves again and again and again. So,
man, they would be very mad about Japan then, because their conservatism is collectivism and taking care of each other.
You know, Trump is,
like,
I
one
think,
of the few things
an
Japan's
accurate
better
portrayal.
at, even if they're right-wing shitholes themselves.
I guess a good representative for how terrible America is. But in conclusion, if you're one of the people who voted for this, don't fucking complain because you got exactly what you voted for.
Or
he
you
did
can
exactly
complain, but I'm
what he
gonna
said
laugh at you.
he was going to do. And now we all have to live with the consequences of your decision. So I don't want to hear you complain. I think the people who are negatively affected by this, who didn't vote for him, they're the ones who have a right to complain. But if you voted for this after he said he was going to do this, don't have much patience
I'll read all of Dragon Ball Z on my desk. So yeah, what do you gotta say about Karen's fucking around finding out?
It is awesome to see.
Shake my head. But like we warned you all, when we tell you, don't vote.
Mold C, dilate L plus ratio.
Like when we say, don't vote for Trump or Republicans, you just instantly do it. It's one simple thing, you can do it. It ain't hard, people. So yeah, now we're done laughing at those morons. What's next?
And that'll be pay to win elongated musgrave rage quit stream because he's a moron.
Oh, this was great. He had a complete meltdown recently. People in his chat when he was streaming a game made fun of him so much he rage quit, and it was hilarious. So let's get to that really quickly. Elon Musk gets trolled while live streaming, Mike says.
Anyone's spamming the chat.
And of course he's banning people from the chat.
Yep, of course.
There he goes again, banning people again. He looks so sad and miserable too. It's beautiful.
Just because he is sad and miserable.
May I remind you that he paid to win his games and all that because he sucks?
Yep.
Because he's such a failure? He's as bad as furry retard in Pokemon. He's as ugly as him too. You have no real friends and you will die alone, someone tells him.
Yes. Perfect.
You can't even bribe women with a horse to whack you off. Something he really hates in chat. Trans rights.
Of course.
Someone should tell him
trans rights, gay rights, LGBT rights in general,
Actually,
rights for interracial
I know what would have gotten him
couples.
very angry. Tell him he has a daughter.
Fiction lost.
Yes.
And he failed, and there he goes. He sucks at whatever he plays.
For some reason, Elon Musk decided to stream himself playing Path of Exile 2 on his private jet to show off the capabilities of Starlink, which is a really interesting choice since the last...
Why can't you learn to rage quit in a funny way, like Flight, elongated musgrave, or when me and Aaron rage on Madden, which you've seen before?
Last time he streamed himself playing this game, it ended in total humiliation
remember my
for
raging
him
when you saw me
because
make
it was
that Super
obvious
Bowl
to
run?
actual PoE2 players that he had no idea what he was doing, which
you're
isn't
like, what is
controversial in and
wrong
of
with this
itself
fat
because all
American
players are
obsessing
noobs
with
at times.
NFL?
But the reason why it was so embarrassing for him in particular was because he was ranked as...
Well, I see people watching the AFL.
This dude
hey, you found your one. Hey, you'd probably have a similar thing to me when you're looking at me watching motorsport.
Hey, monster trucks, remember?
Yeah.
One of the top players in the
AFL
world,
from my scene is
meaning
awesome when they do the
he
tackles just
paid
like in the
somebody
NFL.
to
Yay!
boost a character in a game that he wasn't really playing just so people would think
All
that
the
he's
rage
an
I
elite
did at my
gamer.
receiver,
This
remember?
Is loser shit to the highest level. And after denying it at first, he finally admitted that he was indeed paying somebody to boost his accounts in both PoE2 and Diablo 4.
You paid someone to do your account because you can't play the games because you suck so bad. How sad are you? Hey, I mean, and again, this is the same person who tried to bribe women to whack him off of a horse.
Or as PC Gamer reports. So I don't know why.
And really just a whack off, not even all the way? Wow.
He would stream PoE2 again, following that cringeworthy debacle that you think he would want us to forget about.
Naturally.
But he did.
Man, he must
and
be
it
jealous. I've had
expectedly
women,
did not go too
throw
well
themselves at me.
once again. For starters, he died at the tutorial.
I'm a fat fuck. How does it make you feel?
And then
hey, I'm a poor fat fuck.
In women so that you die.
I'm a poor fat fuck, and I can get pussy easier than him.
Well, saw at the start of this video, he was trolled mercilessly during the stream, and no matter how many times he blocked the troll, they kept coming back to spam mean comments to him, and I want to read some of these again. So they said, "You ruined the country just like you ruined all your marriages." Damn. Elon, how is it possible to look this dumb and ugly? Why is your Tesla company falling apart? Ha ha ha. What happened, buddy? Ruthless. It's me, Ashley St. Clair. I have no other means of contacting you, so I bought PoE2 early access just for this. Please pay your child support. Thank you, Elon. That one, I don't know. That one is probably my favorite. You have no real friends and will die alone. Now, user Elon Musk is a pedophile spam. Die multiple times.
His friend anymore.
Of course they hate each other, like we covered when Trump won, remember? Oh, yeah! Kyle and Fosh and them covered recently that they had another major fight recently after the Wisconsin election.
Yeah.
And he did indeed die in the game multiple times.
Keep fighting like
and there's
mobs
another
in
one
Minecraft.
that is not featured in that video.
Yes.
That 404 Media
Race each
shared,
other
which
like
reads, "You
skeletons."
will always feel insecure. It will never go away. And still not over Grimes. She never loved you." And I feel like these people are preying on all of his insecurities, and it presumably got so bad that he quit, according to Newsweek. And this is just brutal. Absolutely brutal. And I would...
You can't handle the heat. Get out of the kitchen, Elon.
Man, imagine him playing Madden then. He would probably throw a pick six every time like I would.
I feel bad if this were anybody else, but since it's Elon Musk, I can't get enough. I could read these comments all day. Now, aside from the troll spamming him over and over and over again, one of the PoE2 players who figured out the last time that he was paying boosters tuned in to his latest live stream to point out how shitty Elon Musk was at the game, which is funny because I think that Elon Musk expected this to be a redemption stream of sorts after getting exposed as a fake gamer, so odds are he probably probably practiced a little bit and thought that maybe he could fool more players into thinking that, he at least plays the game a little bit. But let's just say that he did not redeem himself. And worse, if this was supposed to show off the capabilities of Starlink, let's just say wasn't the best advertisement.
No, Elon, don't turn that on! No, did he think that's an upgrade? It's not an upgrade, Elon. The one that your fucking boost to set you up with was way better.
What's funny? I have no idea exactly what he's playing, so I can't judge. But hey, let's let people who do know how to play make fun of you.
I'm playing myself.
Hey Elon, if you want us to judge you, play Pokemon so we can laugh at your crappy ass team like furry retards.
Yes.
You'll be the idiot with free Gastrodon again.
Or he'll use an entire team of Gastrodon.
No,
or he just use an entire team of psychic types and get one-shotted 6 times by Cynthia's Spiritomb.
No, he'll just use Magikarp with just Splash.
At 240p with like fucking.
And he'll lose, and he'll fail before even the first battle.
And then he'll be mad when I use a Magikarp with Splash and I crush him.
Oh, he's lagging.
God forbid he plays Pokemon Infinite Fusion too, which we need to do eventually.
He always smiles. That's what I'm noticing. He looks down at his chair.
We're working through Star Beasts at the moment. Remember?
You can do Infinite Fusion off screen like we.
He smiles and thinks, no, I fixed it. Or is he
I've got a couple other things I'm doing off screen.
I'm sure you don't.
I'm currently doing
I'm sure you
trace versions of.
I'm sure
I'm doing trace versions of both Soul Silver and Leaf Green. To get team.
I'm sure you've noticed on the Salty Splatoon that me and Am are absolutely addicted to Infinite Fusion.
Yes, I saw that.
He said there's a lot of retards in chat. I am genuinely entertained. It's funny because it's like the guy was claiming to be like the top gamer, but then to watch how heinous he is at the game.
It is not.
It's funny. Just seeing how slowly he does everything is insane.
Amazing. Now, to be clear, I don't think that anybody would care about how good he is or isn't at video games if he didn't hype himself up as one of the top players in the world. That is what makes this so pathetic. And just listen to the way that he bragged about his gaming bona fides on a recent episode of Joe Rogan. I think this was from November of last year. And he talked about how playing games on the highest difficulty actually calms him down because he's just that good. And he said a bunch of other shit that makes you think that,
remember
people
when I
who
had to
are
work
good at
hard on
gaming,
my
like,
Falcons franchise to win that Super Bowl on all pro difficulty?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you were probably enjoying yourself watching me suffer in that game.
Are super duper smart. Just watch this. This is so
It was actually
now.
quite interesting.
Remember when I was down 17-7 at one point?
Oh, God, yeah.
No.
So are you in the top 20 in the world? Or
Yes.
top 20? Wow, in Diablo.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Joe Rogan, you self-admitted moron.
Hello, Joe Rogan.
And it's
You suck at games too, mister.
Effect.
Yeah.
It sort of chills down anything that
he
forces
sucks
you
at life.
to concentrate
All
fully.
of you suck at life.
Actually,
that's why you deserve to be
has
laughed
a
at.
calming effect. I find it just sort of like
laughed out of the room, more like
kind of a restoring effect. Mentally.
Yeah,
it's good. I mean, because you got to move both hands simultaneously.
Elongated Musgrave wouldn't know how to do an audible to a play like I can.
So, and if your keystrokes or your mouse clicks or whatever are wrong, then you lose.
Probably were too busy making fun of all the audibling I had to do. Remember?
Video games, I would say that their manual dexterity must be extremely good.
Remember me screaming, yelling like quarterback?
In fact, I can actually tell.
That part was a bit funny. That was really funny.
Adam Gray, stop throwing those picks.
So if I'm trying to sort of get like an extremely good clear time in Diablo or something like that.
And then, of course, remember I was fangirl and my running back and receiver?
Whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Like, if I can tell that I'm tired or my brain's not working as well as it should. It's like a mental calibration. You can tell immediately, like, how good is your mental state?
Right.
So, like, people who have high ranks in video games, like me, have actually super high mental dexterity and high motor skills, bro.
I know someone who actually did get to top rankings in Madden on their own. You know who that is? Aaron.
You. Oh, Aaron did.
I don't play Madden online. I would get obliterated.
Something about your mental acuity, bro.
Okay.
And to a genius like me, hard video games actually have a calming effect.
He does
all. You did all right, bro. All right.
He does all Madden, which is higher than all pro.
It's so goddamn cringeworthy. Meanwhile, as he says all of that, He's paying people to boost
Don't
his
you remember all
accounts
those interceptions
and
I
bragging
thrown?
about how
Imagine
much of
on
a
all
fucking
Madden.
genius he is because of his elite gaming skills. It is so fucking cringeworthy. If this were me, if I were caught lying about something like this dumb, which I never would, but if that were me, I would never show my face in public again. But here he is, streaming PoE 2 again, for everybody to make fun of him. It's like he's a sucker for punishment. And again, there's nothing wrong with being bad at video games.
No,
so I just don't understand why he
which
has to
is-
lie about it. You can enjoy games and be bad at them, but it's the unnecessary lying that just doesn't make any sense. It really makes him look that much more pathetic. And what's funny
You
is
could
that
be as bad as me on Madden and still win 6 Super Bowls on my Falcons franchise, which you saw my second to last one recently.
Yep. He wouldn't even be able to get past the title screen though, remember?
He wouldn't even know how to take a snap.
his daughter Vivian recently exposed
wouldn't even know
just
how to hand
how
it off to
bad
his
he
running
is
back.
on a recent Hassan stream.
I can't expose something that I think is really fucking funny.
Oh, hello, Hassan.
When I was like 12, he was grown
Oh,
up,
man.
and me and my twin weren't. And he would try
Now,
to
that's a
constantly
dude
get
who
us
would
to
not
play
know
Rent
how
with
to
him,
play
and I'm
Madden.
like 90% sure it was just because we could carry him.
Yes, some.
And I was like a 12-year-old
Some
main who was like
ability,
barely in silver.
but not a lot.
He was a bronze Torbjorn main. He was
probably
fucking
wouldn't know how to
dog
throw a
shit,
pass.
awful, like god awful. So no, I don't believe the fucking. He's like I am
He
a
wouldn't
pro
know how to
path of
hit
exile,
stick.
whatever the fuck. Like no, the fuck you're not. This is so cringe.
So he's bad, but he feels the need to lie about it, which is weird, to put it mildly. I mean, imagine being so insecure that you can't even accept that you're bad at video games or just not good at every single video game ever. That's just so bizarre to me. As somebody who plays games, I don't care if people think that I'm good or bad. I'm okay, right? I'm more of a fan of Soulsborne games, and I feel like I hold my own. I'd probably get my cheeks clapped like that in a PvP situation.
Me, mostly, my favorite thing is business simulations and grand strategies where I run countries. What about you?
Sandbox, RPG, and tower defense.
But, you know, I take the time to learn the mechanics, and I get pretty good. In a game like Call of Duty, I would die immediately. Not good at that. It just depends on
Me,
what
who
you
got
want to
obliterated
take
last time I did Halo Online years ago.
Ooh.
That's the only first person I would ever play is
time
Halo.
to learn. Like, if you enjoy video games, why does it matter if people think you're good at them? Like, to me, the joy that I get from video games is accomplishing things, making my character stronger. To him, the joy that he
conservatives
gets
on Twitter and YouTube sure do like obsessing about me being a Pokemon fan a lot.
from video games is getting other people
Because
to think
they're
that he's good at video games, which is just
And they got
such
nothing
loser
better
shit.
to do
I
with their
can't
lives than be
fucking put
trolled.
into
Or maybe they're just bad at it.
words. It's almost unbelievable.
Both.
I mean, the
It's
fact
both.
that he feels
It's always
inclined
both.
to boast about being one of the top
They're
players in
probably
the
too
world
busy
when he very
watching
clearly
furry
doesn't
retard
even
look
play
at
the
his
fucking
crappy
games
team.
he's talking
Yeah.
about.
And
It's
getting
so embarrassing.
informed by
Now,
him.
after he attacked Hassan for playing a woke video game, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Hassan offered to challenge him in Elden Ring.
Pal, mind your business. How about that one?
So he can
Exactly.
put his elite gaming skills to the test.
Next
And that's
you
another
is
game that
Cry
Elon
My
Musk
Blossom
plays.
Summer
And
is
he
woke.
never took Hassan up on that offer because, again, it might destroy the
Oh,
illusion
we all know
that he's
it
this
is.
master
Pokemon is woke.
gamer, which is what he all
Who's
wants us to
Tower
believe, even
Defense
though we
6
know
is
now
woke,
we now know the
according to
truth.
these
It's just
people.
it's gonna make my head explode. It's so
GTA
fucking weird.
6 is
Now, what's
woke.
funny is that I actually do play Elden Ring, and I know
Existence
firsthand how
is
bad
woke.
Elon Musk is because he shared this
Minecraft
tweet
woke.
of his character build and the gear that he was using, saying equipped load will be lower if fast roll is needed. Now, as somebody who's probably put almost 200 hours into this particular game myself, I can tell you he does not know what the fuck he is doing. And I can spend an entire podcast episode critiquing that build, but let me just go over some
Oh,
basics.
God forbid he starts playing Pokemon. He shows us his teams. Then we'll have to cry for an hour talking about how bad it is.
So that way the non-gamers can understand how stupid this man is. First of all, he has too much gear equipped, and if you're too heavy, you're going to be slower, and if you're
Kind of like in Power World, if you go over your weight limit, you can't do really anything when you're heavy. And he's like right on the limit.
going to be slower, then when you dodge roll to get out of the way of enemies that want to kill you, it's going to make playing the game more difficult. And basically anybody who plays the game will tell you that you have to be able to dodge roll fast. Otherwise, you're going to get killed. So the fact that he's going with this and is fine with it is stupid. Moreover, he has 2 shields equipped, and you don't have to be a gamer to know that you don't need 2 shields. But also, he's trying to play as a magic build, so he arguably doesn't even need 1 shield, let alone 2. And you can also summon characters in this game to help you with the game. He has 3 different summons equipped when you can only use 1. Anyone playing the game for more than a couple of hours is going to know that. Also, he has a bow. Now, if you have a bow, of course, you're going to need arrows to shoot with, right? Well, he has the bow equipped, but he doesn't have any arrows, making the bow that he has equipped useless. But it gets worse than that, because he's playing as a
he probably just picked it up from a skeleton he just killed in Minecraft, Mike.
magic build, supposedly. So he has a magic staff.
Its durability is probably non-existent, too.
That he can use in lieu of a bow for ranged attacks. So if you can already pew-pew somebody from a distance with your magic, why would you also carry a bow? It makes no sense whatsoever. Right?
God forbid he plays onigiri.
Why would you make these decisions? And apparently he's put over 100.
He thinks of anything, plays anything ever.
He can't play Japanese games. He'll be too busy calling them the J word.
100 hours into this game, and he didn't take the time to just learn the basics.
Like, there's no, because he'd be saying woke N-word every 3 seconds.
Shame if you have to go to Extra Life and look up how to beat a boss, or what's the best build, or what weapons go with, you know, your character, what's a good armor set to get. But he wants everybody to think that he's an expert when he very clearly doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Elon, you need to be humble. If you don't know something, you just admit you don't know it, like I do. I call myself a retard all the time. It's not that hard.
And there's kind of a trend here, right? He says the same thing about government, speaks with confidence about how Doge found out that there are people on Social Security who are 200 years old. Come to find out, he's just misunderstanding the way that they're coded in the system.
I'm not the best when it comes to competitive Pokemon.
This whole debacle with video games,
Mayumi, but do you see me cry about it?
It just goes to show you that this is a trend for Elon Musk, where he wants people to think that he's smart and he's an expert on everything, when in actuality, he's the biggest fucking dumbass in the country. But I mean, I guess that with regard to this Path of Exile 2 stream, he thought that he would be able to redeem himself. But as you all saw, it didn't quite work out that way. And it turned out to be the cherry on top of a shit Sunday of a week for him, because he also poured $20 million into a Wisconsin race and lost. Tesla continues to hemorrhage money, which is also affecting his personal net worth. And there are reports that Musk is going to be pushed out of the White House relatively soon because Republicans are souring on him. And as the CNN business headline put it, everything is blowing up in Elon Musk's face. And yeah, that's happening, and you kind of love to see it. But it's just interesting to me that he thought that he would be able to get back in the good graces of gamers after pissing everyone else off. Like, oh, you know, Republicans don't really like me anymore. Democrats certainly don't like me. Liberals don't like me, who bought my electric vehicles. So maybe I'll get back good in with the gamers who I just lied to about being an expert gamer. They're all shit, and I'm the best.
Imagine if he tries to play Mad Games Tycoon 2 and make his own video games. There'll probably be 0 scores across the board.
And accept me back, even though I just showed them that I'm the biggest fucking loser on the planet.
I'm rolling like 90% each game I make.
I don't know what goes on in this man's head. Probably nothing, right? But what's also extremely funny about this situation is that anyone associated with this administration should probably steer clear of gamers, especially at this time.
Maybe you need to play Mad Games Tycoon 2.
Really fucked over people hoping to pre-order the Nintendo Switch 2, because Nintendo just announced recently that they were postponing pre-orders in the United States in order to assess the impact of Donald Trump's tariffs. And as the Latin Times reports, Nintendo fans are blaming Trump for this, as they should. And part of the controversy surrounding the Nintendo Switch 2 was the higher than expected cost of the console, as well as the games, which didn't apparently factor in Trump.
The wrong thing.
At least it
always doing the wrong thing, because that's your whole life.
At least it doesn't affect me, because I'm not getting a Switch 2 unlike you.
Tariffs when they made that price, and according to analysts quoted in Forbes,
I haven't touched my Switch in about a year.
Oh man!
So I don't know when I'll be getting a Switch 2.
I'm not until either.
I might just get it for Coliseum and XD, honestly.
Unless there's an
actual... I know how bloody hard those games are. I want a real challenge.
I'm not going to get one unless there's an actual good main series Pokemon game on, or something that really gets my attention. Because at that price point, I'd rather upgrade my computer, which means more to me. Because that's smart.
The cost of the base model could be $80 to $90 higher because of Trump's tariffs. And to make matters even worse, pre-orders were just paused in Canada too, because they don't know if Americans trying to buy from Canada, you know, if there's problems here, is going to fuck up the supply in Canada. So Canada has to suffer because of the president that Americans elected. So Americans and Canadians are both watching British people tweet about how excited they are that they just secured their Nintendo Switch 2 pre-order, and we all have to wait and wonder if we're even going to be able to get the system or if we're going to be able to afford it because of Donald Trump's tariffs.
Or you could be like me and just wait 4 years before you get your Switch 2. That's how long it took for me to get a Switch.
The Nintendo Switch 2 subreddit.
When did you get your Switch?
About a year after everything came out.
So like March 2018, I'm assuming.
About that time, yeah.
March 2021 for me when the COVID stimulus came in, and then of course that August I got the normal Switch, so I got 2 of them.
We'll see that gamers are not fucking happy with Donald Trump. So it is beyond hilarious to me that Elon Musk thought that of all times, now would be the best time for anybody associated with Trump to try to appeal to gamers. I mean, it's just, I don't know what is going through his fucking head, and I've said that multiple times, so I sound redundant, so forgive me for that, but
trying to
the
rape
things
women
that they do on a daily basis has all of us scratching our heads because it's just beyond comprehension. These are supposed to be the experts, right? They tell us that if you're rich, that automatically makes you intelligent, but Elon Musk is the biggest case study ever proving that wrong.
Bullshit.
Right? And the policies of this administration are making it harder for regular people to afford the hobby that they love so much that helps them forget about the hellscape that they created for us.
Oh, wait,
but he thinks that now is the best time to prove, actually, he is an elite gamer, even though he was paying people to boost his character in PoE 2. It's amazing to me. I mean, it's not like video games weren't already expensive to begin with thanks to industry greed, but now it's going to get even worse because of Donald Trump's unnecessary tariffs, and Elon Musk thinks now is the time to get back in good with the gamers. Amazing. And listen, it may seem frivolous because video games aren't essential items, obviously, but video games provide a much-needed escape from the late-stage capitalist dystopia that we're all living in the same way that movies and TV shows help people escape. And what politicians and oligarchs don't realize is that if you take away the distractions that keep the peasants in line...
Late-stage capitalists, no, we're in techno-feudalism.
Because they're so mad that they hate video games.
You're making it that much more likely that the peasants will pick up pitchforks and want to revolt. There's a reason why bread and circus was essential to Rome in its dying days, because if the peasants were fed and entertained, they didn't dwell too much about the exploitative working conditions that they experienced, or the lack of economic opportunity, or the fact that the rich kept getting richer while things were getting worse for everybody else. So, I mean, without trivial distractions like video games, things will only continue to get worse for everyone, peasants and oligarchs and politicians alike. So, you know, make of that what you will. But overall, this story was incredibly hilarious to me, and forgive me for my petty responses sometimes. I think it feels good to just be petty, especially when we're talking about shitty people who are hurting other people. The fact that Elon Musk is so worried about the way that people perceive him, and the fact that everybody views him as the loser that he rightfully should be viewed as is great. So listen, Elon Musk, do some more stream some Elden Ring, stream some more games, because I definitely feel like it's going to get better if you do them more often. You know, it's not going to humiliate you. Definitely do it more. Eventually, you'll get better. Just keep at it, and make sure you stream and have the comments turned on so we can watch.
So yeah, what do you guys say about him raging like a baby because he sucks at video games?
I love it.
Yep, absolutely beautiful. Get fucked. So now, on to the next topic.
And that is brain-dead Trump tanking further in the polls.
I mean, are you really surprised?
No.
Let's watch Kaz's video.
So President Trump in his second term has always been unpopular relative to other presidents in their honeymoon phase. So, of course, the honeymoon phase is like right when you get in there. Basically, the American people seem to give presidents a grace period to, like, you know, make some decisions, implement some policies, try to get...
You never give Trump a grace period.
Perspective for you. Joe Biden in his honeymoon phase was plus 17 points over water.
You never give Trump a grace period, ever.
Donald Trump, the high number I saw was plus 6. But I also
Trump
saw
gets
a
nothing
bunch
but
that had
anger
him just
and
dead
being
even,
laughed at.
or like +1.
Yeah.
So underperforming Joe Biden during his honeymoon phase
And
by
call him a
double
creeper.
digits, right?
And then he'll probably blow up like one.
He's always been like that because he has colossally high unfavorables. He always had. He always has. In his first term, it was even worse in his first term, I think. So he also had the other day, and I was shocked by this myself, even though his economic numbers were massively underwater, there was one poll that had him at a 50% approval rating. And I was kind of shocked by that because I'm looking at it like, that doesn't make sense. Because when you get to the specific things he's doing, it's like underwater, 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 and then had his highest approval maybe ever in that one poll. Okay. Well, guess what? I was right in thinking that's sort of an outlier. And all of the horrific decisions and Elon Musk's bullshit, it's starting to catch up to him. So now we have this. Donald Trump's approval rating falls to new low for his second term. Here we go. Ready? President Donald Trump's net approval rating has fallen to a new low for his second term of minus 14 points, according to a poll.
Because no one likes
That's
you.
got to
Never
be
will.
a record for any
You're a
president this
moron.
early on in their term.
You suck.
Minus 14. He's been in there for what? 2-3 months? The AP NORC survey conducted between March 20th and 24th
and you
shows
look
that
like
56%
and sound like
of
a
respondents
brain-dead old
disapproved
man
of
like
Trump's job as
Biden
president,
did.
while 42% approved. Guys, again, we're talking 2-3 months here. He's already down at 42. The survey was conducted on 1,229 adults and had a margin of error of plus or minus 4 percentage points. Trump's approval rating is a key indicator of his political strength as he navigates his second presidential term and prepares for future policy battles. A shift in his numbers could influence support for Republican lawmakers, affect his ability to push through his agenda, and shape the political landscape heading into the midterm election cycle. So here's the thing, man. Talking about a potential shift in Republican voters now, they're all completely cucked to Trump and MAGA. That's a fact.
Because you're all losers.
But at the same time, they just got some cold water in the face. They just got a strong rebuke just last night. So you had the Wisconsin Supreme Court race, and Elon Musk dumped over like $20 million into that race. It was a fucking record how much he spent to try to buy the Wisconsin Supreme Court seat. And it failed. It failed. The Democrat raised way less money, and still ended up winning. And this was, Elon was holding events there and giving away $1 million check and telling other people, we'll give you $100 if you vote or bring somebody else to vote. And he went all in. Elon was on TV saying, if we lose this race, it's the fall of Western civilization. So they really had all their eggs in that basket. And what they were looking for was validation of what Trump has been doing and what Doge and Elon have been doing. And the voters not only smacked them down, they smacked them down astronomically. We're talking about, it was supposed to be a close race. It was called almost instantly, and it's a double-digit victory for the Democrat. Double-digit victory. So with
because
that,
no one likes Trump
here's the reality.
elongated musgrave.
They are political creatures, and they care first and foremost about saving their ass. To this point, that's why they've sucked Trump's nuts from the back, is because they feel like, hey, this guy always seems to weather the storm, always seems to come out on top, so we got to hitch our wagon to him. We have no choice, right? But right now is the first moment where they got to look around and go, oh, this is not a good sign for the midterms. This is not a good sign for Trump and Elon and their agenda. And I don't know about this, dog. Maybe the best way for me to hold on to my seat is to try to differentiate myself from what they're doing, right? And the Republicans, the elected Republicans, aren't as stupid as Trump and Elon, where
I don't know, Kyle. I think they're all pretty stupid.
We're not going to say we're cutting it. We're going to say we're reforming it, and we'll do like a 3% cut, and we'll lie and pretend like we didn't do it, and we'll do a whole propaganda effort to try to get people there. Trump and Elon are just going in like, hey, slash 50% of the Social Security offices, cut off the phone line, which is used for like 40% of the claims, start cutting off people's checks illegally by claiming it's waste, fraud, and abuse when it's not. And this is leading to a revolt on the ground. It's leading to a revolt. And so this is the first instance where they're going to pause for a second and go, huh, maybe being a total cuckboy to this bloated freak is not a good idea. So they continue here. The findings from the AP NORC poll also reveal that 58% of respondents disapproved of Trump's handling of the economy, while 40% approved. So he's never been... Guys, I need you to understand. This is an anomaly in the sense that Republicans... I don't know why this is. It's kind of a shame. But Republicans generally always have a higher approval rating on the economy than Democrats. Because I think the stereotype of the Republican in people's minds is they're like a serious old man who wants to save you your money. Right, give you tax cuts. They're fiscal conservatives, so they watch very closely. And this is the stereotype. None of that is true, but this is what people think. right? So Republicans always have better numbers on the economy than Democrats, like regardless of the facts. For a Republican president to be 18 points underwater on the economy is unheard of. Now, why? Why? Why is this happening? Guys, the answer is right in front of you. It's very simple. I'm talking to you today. This is right before Trump announces Liberation Day for the economy. What's Liberation Day? He's going to announce universal across-the-board tariffs. Okay, I'm going to do a segment on this in a little bit, but that is literally the end of the American economy. Like, things will never be the same again. If you actually implement this, you're going to see massive inflation for consumer goods.
Yeah.
The one thing in this country that was holding it together with duct tape and glue was the low price of consumer goods.
Which Trumpsters all of a sudden say, you don't need
housing,
this, you idiots.
Education, for all the
when
things
beforehand they were praising
that, like,
it. Now all of a sudden they're against
are
it.
the staples that you need, right? There's been massive inflation on that stuff. And there's been steady prices for consumer goods. Well, now, if you hit the American people with a double whammy of inflation, where housing and healthcare and education are through the roof, and now also consumer goods are through the roof, as wages are largely stagnant, what do you think's going to happen? People are not going to be able to afford anything. They're going to be hit in the head with a fucking sledgehammer called Trump's tariffs. And so for him to be 18 points underwater, that is the American people going, holy shit, no, we don't want this, we don't want to do this, we can't deal with a 25% tax on everything we fucking buy at the store, right? So that's a big deal. Meanwhile, 60% disapproved of Trump's handling of trade negotiations, while just 38% approved. That's where, you know, he's like,
what trade negotiations
like
is he
Trudeau,
doing?
Threatening the EU with tariffs.
None.
The
Like,
the
this is
fake
people looking
ones
at
that Trump
like,
pretends he's getting.
The results were divided along party lines, with Republicans approving overwhelmingly of Trump's handling of both issues and Democrats disapproving strongly. The finding mirrors other polls in recent weeks which have shown Trump's approval ratings on the economy and tariffs plummeting. A poll by YouGov and Yahoo, conducted between March 20th and 24th among 1,677 adults, revealed that Trump's approval rating on the economy was 39%, while 51% disapproved. That's only going to go one direction, y'all. It's only going to go one direction. Because it sounds like he's following through on these tariffs, which will mean just the stock market is going to absolutely implode. There will be massive job loss, as there's been in the public sector, and now the private sector too, and prices are going to skyrocket. The poll also showed that a majority of Americans believe that the U.S. was already in a recession or headed towards one. On Monday, Goldman Sachs raised its odds of a recession in 2025 to 35%. Up from 20% previously. That's a conservative number, y'all. That is the company's highest recession probability since the regional banking crisis 2 years ago. Meanwhile, J.P. Morgan now says the chances of a recession this year stand at 40%, with both business sentiment and consumer confidence having slumped in recent weeks. Consumer confidence has plummeted. Consumers are like, this is really uncertain. Right, like what's happening right now is really, really uncertain. Fears of recession stem from Trump's tariffs on countries including Canada, Mexico, and China, which Goldman Sachs previously estimated could push up inflation by 1% while squeezing U.S. companies' profits. Trump has sought to blame inflation on his predecessor, Joe Biden, at an event at the White House in March. He said the U.S. economy and its economy went to hell under Biden. However, a Morning Consult poll published on March 20th
you're the one that's done that.
Biden
was trying to fix the mess that COVID caused.
And he actually did a good job, which Trump will never be able to do.
The findings revealed that 46% of respondents said Trump was to blame for the current economic conditions, while 41% said the same about Biden. So he's now eclipsed Biden, where all these economic problems and all the inflation is going to be directly blamed on him. This
Biden
is compared to a February poll when 44% of respondents said that the current economic conditions resulted from Biden's policies, while only 39% blamed Trump. Newsweek's average of the 10 most recent polls show that Trump's approval rating stands at 47%, while 49% disapprove, giving him a net score of -2 points. Both his approval and disapproval ratings have remained relatively stable in recent weeks. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you see here, right? See how the disapprove is ticked up and the approve ticked down? You just wait, bro. If he follows through with these tariffs...
And this is like a week, almost 2 weeks ago now.
Man, it is going to be... It's going to get ugly. I'm talking 2008 Great Recession ugly. I'm talking COVID downturn ugly.
And reminder, Bush during his time had like a 20-something approval rate.
And ideological as he appears.
Yep.
We could be talking about these tariffs like we talk about the Smoot-Hawley Act, which helped lead to the Great Depression. That's where we are right now. So it's not looking good for the big guy, and it's only going to get worse. One more thing I wanted to show you on this. One more thing. Ready? Is Donald Trump doing better than you expected as president, worse, or about what you expected?
Pretty much about what I expected.
A plurality of voters.
Horrible.
42%. A plurality of voters say he's doing worse. He's doing worse. And that number has ticked up from 35% in February. So in other words, the most common reaction is the exact same reaction I had and many of you had, where I was like, look, first-term Trump was bad. He was bad. Tax cuts for the rich, deregulation, more bombings, right? It was bad. It was bad. But this second term is so much worse, so far above and beyond what anybody could have imagined in their wildest nightmares. And that appears to be the response, the plurality response of the American people. So you're not crazy. You're not alone. Everybody else is seeing this shit too. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and...
You're a brain-dead retard. So yeah, what are you going to say about that? Once again,
that's not surprising.
Trump tanking the polls once again.
Because of course.
Because he's a moron. All right, so fuck him. And now, on to the next topic.
The final one. And how difficult would it be to hold legitimate elections in Ukraine?
Thankfully, even though the video's like 13 minutes long, it's only going to be a few minutes to watch and all that because it covers most at the beginning. So, of course, I was looking around for topics and all that earlier because I was having a really tough time finding a whole bunch of them. And I decided to go on DW, which is the German news network we've covered before and for stuff. And they had this video recently. I thought it was too good to ignore. So, of course, as you all know, have you seen all the idiot conservatives keep talking about, like, Zelensky's a dictator, he banned elections and all that? Even though, as we pointed out, because Russia invaded Ukraine, they have a state of emergency. And during that national emergency, they can't have elections during that time.
Exactly.
They can't. But, of course, conservatives fervently denied it at all costs. And I watched the video, and DW did a really good breakdown on what would happen. I mean, not what would happen, but, like, the requirements of what Ukraine has if doing an election coming up and all that. So, let's watch it and watch conservatives and pro-Russian retards rage and mauled as always.
The new Trump administration has been tough on Ukraine.
Your country is in big trouble.
Shut up, Trump. It's your fault, too.
Shut up, Adolf Trumpler.
Though Zelensky's trust ratings fell over time
here's the first
invasion,
stupid argument idiot
elected,
Trump was always saying, Zelensky wants to ban an election because he's unpopular, he's going to lose and all that. Even at his lowest poll, as this shows right here, since the invasion began, his lowest poll was last December was at 52%. Now, because of Trump, it's up to 69% approval. So
nice.
So yeah, guys, it was very obvious. If they did have elections, Zelensky was going to win, and it's now even more obvious now. You fucking morons! It has nothing to do about him being unpopular. It's because state of emergency. That's it.
Exactly. Of a standoff. So could President Zelensky try to ride this wave of support and go to the polls soon? Recent media reports suggest that his team could be preparing for elections if a ceasefire comes into force. Martial law prohibits elections, but the current period ends on May 8th. His servant of the People Party has denied the rumors, pointing out that the Constitution bars elections under martial law. But that isn't the only challenge.
Look, this is not up to Zelensky whether there will be elections or not. This is up to Ukrainian society.
Most Ukrainians do not want to vote until there is a sustainable peace.
Oh, well, look at that. 70% of Ukraine saying no elections until there's a peace going on right now. Only 10% want an actual election right now. So again, all you idiot Trumpsters, you don't speak for Ukrainians who say, no, we don't want elections till there's peace and all that.
Exactly.
Seems like you're all Russian assets.
Or elections during a temporary ceasefire.
Imagine that you and I, we print a flyer on any political and we go outside right now to give it to someone. And the question that people will be asking, and it will be a fair question.
And the woman talking is a party that's opposed to Zelensky's agreeing with them on him on this?
Why did you print this instead of giving this money
Even the opposition knows it's a stupid idea to have an election right now?
Not only that, Ukraine's enemy has been pushing for it to hold elections.
Well, who cares what Nazi Putler wants?
We need an elections right now.
Yeah.
people would blame him like.
The only thing I want to hear is just him dying.
So what would Ukraine need to head to the polls?
And take Pooh Bear G with him.
Yep.
Peacetime
and
law
Kim
says
Jong-un.
elections can be held
And
2 to 3 months
Erdogan.
after being called.
And Trump.
But
and
experts
Netanyahu.
agree new post-war legislation could take up to a year to pass.
There are two parallel processes. The first is working on the legislation for the post-war elections, and second will be actually practically executing on it.
Another crucial consideration will be safety, making voting safe enough.
Yeah, guys, how are you going to have an election when there's a war going on? What about the millions of Ukrainians that are under Russian occupation being genocide? What about Ukrainians that are refugees in other countries and all that? What about Russia doing terrorist attacks while the elections are going on? Have you ever thought about that, people?
Will be a significant
Oh, that's right, you don't, because you're a moron.
Ukraine is the
and paid
most
Russian
violent
assets.
place in the world right now.
Exactly.
Electoral districts where you will have the booths. You have to make sure that it's demined.
The next question, who would get to vote and to stand for election? Millions of Ukrainians are internally displaced, and millions more are refugees in other countries. They will need to register again. And we can't forget the estimated 6 million people still in Russian-occupied areas. And an estimated 700,000 military personnel must have the right not just to vote, but to campaign and compete too.
In our surveys, the majority of people, first of all, want military and the volunteers to run for the presidency, for the members of the parliament. But it's a very important category for the population, for any elections to be perceived as legitimate.
And finally, how to ensure a legitimate, credible result. This includes ensuring turnout and preventing interference.
Even during peace periods in Ukraine, our turnout rate was like from 50 to 60%. Imagine we have like a 30% turnout rate. From the point of view of legitimacy, we could be blamed by US, by Russia, that you don't have a legitimate government because only 30% of Ukrainians participated in it.
Russia will try
why would they vote if there's an ongoing war going on where they could be killed?
So we need to be ready.
And the millions that are under occupation or
Surveys show that
displaced.
Ukrainians see democracy as one of their country's most fundamental values. They want elections, but only when the time is right.
Ukraine doesn't want to hold elections for the sake of elections. Ukraine wants to hold elections for the sake of democracy, for the sake of accountability of the government, for the sake of freedom. We don't need voting if it's not democratic.
Alright, so that covers pretty much the rest of the video. It's just boring crap after that. So, yeah, what do you guys say about that?
It's almost impossible to hold actual elections in Ukraine until after the war.
Then maybe all you dipshit Russian assets and Trumpsters should shut the fuck up then. How about...
they never will.
They always keep bringing up, we had elections during the Civil War and World War II and all that. Well, yes. Well, World War II, we weren't under enemy occupation pretty much. It was insignificant.
Yep.
And the Civil War, of course, remember, the Civil War is the 1860s. There was no, planes, drones, missiles, and all that. You could safely vote behind.
Exactly.
Outside of the front lines. You were pretty much safe outside maybe occasional raids. You don't have to worry about going outside. Ooh, will I get droned? Will I get hit by a missile or a plane or anything like that? There's a lot of big differences from 1860 to now and such. So when they say they can't do it... Oh yeah, another thing too is Republicans and conservatives always keep assuming every single democracy is like America and all that. No, most countries are very unique in their democracy and all that. And Ukraine's is, under martial law, you can't have elections. That's the end of it.
Exactly.
Once the war is over, the martial law will be gone, and Ukraine will have elections, as the government, and Zelensky's government said, when the war is over, they'll have elections within 6 months. And that's been the case for over a year now. So maybe you should stop being idiots and all that. How about you shut up, and more importantly, help Ukraine crush Russian Nazis? Oh, that's right. You guys love the Nazis in this regard.
Remember, not just the Christian Nazis, but the Chechen Islamic Nazis.
But of course, you all love them.
Yep.
Shake my head. Alright, guys. So there we go. That is all the topics. So see you all next time for episode 127.